What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Hello, and welcome everybody to the third installment here of 101 with CST Gaming. Special guest today. We're gonna have beautiful and my guy, MickityyyMike and OWLZzFS. What's going on, guys? How you guys doing?
Hello, hello.
Good, good. All right, awesome. Mic checks are good. Welcome everybody. Glad to have you guys. Today is gonna be a little bit different than our usual little podcast that we do on the on this channel and on Mickey's channel and also Captain Jack channel. When we talk, flight simulation and mods and stuff like that. Today, I wanted to keep the subject related to the community that we are in, and revolve it around that particular subject. We can definitely go in other stuff as well. But for the most part, I kind of want to talk about the community itself, right? The flight sim community, the people that are in our Discord or other Discord stuff we come across on YouTube, and we're like, oh, this is great, or what the hell is this? That type of stuff, right? So there's been some recent stuff that has been going on, especially when I say recent, I mean the last few months. with a lot of talks of the new sim and also the talks of X-Plane versus Microsoft Flight Sim within the community, and all this other great stuff that sometimes I think, me included, we're all guilty to maybe take it a little bit too far or say something that we don't need to be saying, and all that good jazz there. So that's kind of like what I wanted to keep the conversation around. So um, I've been in this community for a while. When it comes to flight sim community, not as a streamer content creator, but as a flight simmer, right? So I've been around for quite some time, especially when it comes with VATSIM. We were just looking at stuff the other day during Captain Jack's and Mikey's streams, and we had a fellow ATC friend of ours that was on the show, and he was telling us, "Hey, this is how you tell, how long somebody's been on VATSIM, and how we kind of, know, okay, this guy probably knows what he's talking about and all this good jazz." But anyways, put it in context. What I'm trying to get to is my second account on VATSIM was created in 2007. The first account I lost, unfortunately, but my second account was created in 2007. So that goes to show you that I am an old fool. But yeah, so again, I've been around the flight sim community for quite some time. So um, now, ever since I started streaming flight simulation and started getting traction on that, I kind of see another side of the flight sim community, right? And I'm pretty sure that um, all three of us can talk to that. So that's kind of like what I was trying to get things going with, right? I see some good stuff, mostly good actually, if I got to be honest, and then I see some very alarming stuff on the good old YouTube with people that call themselves content creators and ambassadors and all that other good stuff that we don't want to talk about royalty. So, having said that, I'm gonna turn over to our good friend Mickey Mike, and just tell me, like, I guess your feelings, like your pulse on the community. What do you think about the flight simulation community?
Well, I think the flight simulation community in its entirety, and well, let me rephrase: the vast majority of the flight simulation community uh, are all here for the same reason, and I think there is a kind of a misunderstanding between those who have been around for a very long time and those who have recently joined into this community. Like I've been flight simming since 2004. It's been 20 years that I've been flight simming and flying on different types of sims and different aircrafts. And VATSIM, I mean, my VATSIM ID starts with 123, so I've been around a long time on the VATSIM network. Over 10 years, and you know, as I said, the vast majority of the flight simulation community are all here for the same reason. That's just for the passion of aviation, the love for airplanes, and being able to. A lot of those people who fulfill their dream of flying virtually because they can't do it in the real world, whether it be due to medical conditions, financial cost, flight schools, so on and so forth. We're all here for the same reason. However, in recent years, in my personal opinion, based off of what I've seen, it's kind of gone away from that, and in my opinion, there is a massive sense of entitlement in the flight simulation community. Everybody in the flight simulation community, to include myself, we all have some sort of sense of entitlement when it comes to add-ons, sceneries, airplanes, this, that, the third. We feel like we're entitled to this kind of stuff because we're the consumers who have been providing these development teams with the financial aid to be able to produce the products that they have. Um, and I believe that's kind of turned the flight simulation community into a bit of a toxic community because everybody, if you've been in a room full of entitled people, it's really not the most enjoyable person or enjoyable place to be at because everybody feels that they're entitled to something. Like, um, the term Karen kind of comes around when it comes to that. So the level of toxicity entitlement that's in the community is kind of taken away from the purpose of why we all do this. You know, now, that's not to say that there still aren't good people within the community because there are a lot. I've met a lot throughout my journey with YouTube. I just celebrated 1 year on YouTube. What 10 days ago or something like that. So it's the year that I've been live streaming. You know, I've met some fantastic people, you know, like such as CST, such as Owls, Captain Jack, Chelmo Kills My Skills, Lotto, and a plethora of others that, you know, I'm in Discords and talk with people. And, you know, I've got people have my personal phone number from the expo and we text and go back and forth. I've made good friends doing this, you know. But again, you know, I think there's just a sense of entitlement there to where everybody feels that they're entitled to something and their expectations are on too high of a level to where it no longer feels like they're just anticipating something that they're expecting it, right? And that's kind of just where my opinion lays right now currently. Even with the X-Plane versus Microsoft argument, you know, there's a massive sense of entitlement there as well. People feel like they're entitled. I mean, people are entitled to their opinions, but that doesn't make it any more of a, you know, credible argument you're making because one sim is better than the other, quote unquote. In my personal opinion, I could give a damn what sim you use. We're all here for the same purpose, right? Whether you do it in X-Plane or Microsoft, whatever makes you happy, whatever floats the boat, that makes me happy, right? So, um, I definitely think that we've kind of gotten away from the purpose, the sole purpose as to why we all do this, you know, and we've all, you know, shown a bit of entitlement when it comes to it, you know, with aircrafts releasing late or release dates not being honored and aircrafts not shipping with stuff that are on everyday airplanes now, such as the Sharklets with the Airbuses and this, that, third. Um, we all kind of say, well, why isn't it here? Why not? Why can't we get it just yet? This, that, the third. It's just like, you know, at the end of the day, that's kind of what the flight simulation community is now focused on, is how quick they can receive a product versus how good the product actually is, you know. So, you know, that's where I've seen things change over the last 20 years that I've been doing this. Because back in the day, man, it was just flight simming, man. Once a plane came out, hey, it's fly it. If it's not good, it's not good. It is what it is. You know, there was no sense of we need this now, we need it. I give versus thank you for doing this. We appreciate your work, kind of thing, you know. So that's where I stand on it.
Yeah, I mean, and you're talking about, you know, a decade ago, whatever. It was a totally different component when it came to the flight sim community, right? You're talking the people that used to fly sim back in those days were, for the most part, all adults, unless you had some younger people that were introduced to flight simming by their parents and stuff like that, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
some friends that might have known that actually had a flight simulator laying around or whatnot. But because I think a lot more traffic got introduced to flight simming with Xbox, right? Whenever
Yeah.
they came out with 2020, but before that, it wasn't really. You wouldn't even see it on YouTube as much, right? Flight simming, you see some people, right? But it wasn't as big as the community is growing so much uh, um, ever since Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, and it has evolved into something different that people like me, for example, that's why I wanted to bring Owls and you in, because we're kind of looking at like three different generations of flight simmer, right? Or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call them, gamers, you know, flight enthusiasts, whatever, right?
Right.
So that's kind of like where we get to. You got your generation, kind of like me and people that have been doing it for a long time, that that look at, you know, they don't adapt to the change, right? They're like, oh, you got all these kids on VATSIM. I can't stand that. Or, you know, these people don't know what they're doing. This is ridiculous. This, and that, the other, right? Which to a certain degree, I can understand somebody's frustration with that. But when it grows um, to the point where it becomes obnoxious, that's where it kind of irritates me a little bit, right? Because it's like, okay, dude, you know, I get it. You used to fly sim 15 years ago, right? And 15 years ago, you only had certain age groups and certain people doing flight sim. Well, today's flight sim community is not the flight sim community that you had 15 years ago.
Right.
So
It was
if
very
you
niche back in the day.
exactly,
Very niche back in the day.
so if you're expecting 15 years ago flight simulation, then and you're not getting what you want, or you're not having a pleasant experience because you are used to the old ways, then maybe flight simulation is not for you anymore. You know, maybe do it on your own time. Maybe do it offline. You don't need to be going on VATSIM, because And look, I'm saying all this. I've been guilty of it, right? I've been that person that used to get upset and get out of VATSIM. I'm not doing the VATSIM thing anymore. This is garbage. Irritates me to hear people say something that makes no sense on the network, or flying their plane sideways off the runway, right? Because it ruins your immersion to a certain extent, right? But
Yeah.
then you got to think about it as a grown ass dude, right? In my opinion, right? You got to sit there and you got to be grown about the shit, right? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, there is a younger generation that is coming up.
Right.
A couple of decades ago, I was that kid on the runway going on the grass, and and there were people probably thinking the same thing that I'm thinking today about me, about little CST, right? Trying to take off the runway, not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
So you got to be aware of this. So the fact that we have people in our community, and that's why earlier I was bringing up the fact that hey, there's some good, some bad, some indifferent, but the fact that we have people in the community that are not only that not only don't like change, they're not willing to embrace change. It's going to
Yeah.
change. The community, the flight simulation community, is going to change, whether it's for the better, for the worst. It's all up to anybody's personal opinion, right?
Yeah.
But it's
It's
going to
evolving as
change,
a market.
just
Yeah. It's
just
evolving.
like just like everything, right? Just like life, just like society, just like a city. The city is, a place. People evolve. People become different. Years ago, you weren't able to get on social media. You didn't have a computer in your pocket. We do now. You got my grandfather. That's like, oh, I said you don't need that. That's right. But if I listen to my grandfather, then I shouldn't even have a cell phone. You see what I'm getting
Right.
at? It's like,
Right.
so you got to be able to adapt and overcome if you want to be part of a community, right? So why am I saying all this? Because I'm gonna be completely up forward. All right. Um, because of this situation, because of what I think, and and I hope that this person is watching, and I hope w- he'll reach out and kind of explain it, whether it was me, because sometimes I can be very harsh with my words, right? Everybody's not perfect. Somebody we say something or do something that somebody else might not like, and I've always been of the opinion, or uh, I've always believed, I would say, I wouldn't even say it's an opinion, that if I have an issue with somebody, and that's probably the way I was raised in the military, right? You pull them aside and you talk to them. You don't just live the situation and, you know, make the other person wonder what the hell happened, or why is this going on, or why isn't this person talking to me no more, right? It's like, put me aside, let me know what the hell is going on. Let me know what the hell I did wrong. You know why? Because if you tell me what I did wrong, I'm probably not going to do it anymore, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect. I'm not going to be able to read people's minds, right?
Yeah.
So, long story short, is I've lost. I won't say lost, but there was a member in my community which I held to very high standard and respected very, very much. That left my Discord, left my community, and to be quite honest with you, I didn't I didn't even it never crossed my mind that this person was going to leave my community, right? This is not just a community member, right? This was not just a person that was in your Discord. This was uh, um a person that I know for a while. This was a person that I had grown with when it comes with the community and the YouTube and all that good stuff. That's been with me since day one. And because what I believe is the fact that he is unable to adapt and overcome with today's flight simulation community and be able to accept certain things, right? And be able to understand, I think, in my opinion, I might be totally wrong, that a VETSIM network is not an elite network of top-notch
Right.
flight simulator, top-notch flight sim pilots and real pilots, right? The VETSIM network is a free to join for anybody, new, old, it doesn't even matter. If you are old enough to know how to type on the keyboard and register on the VETSIM network, you can lie your way through your age and make yourself an account, and you can be that 6, 7, 8 year old flying a plane on the network, right? We've heard it. We've been there. I have shorts on it. I got receipts, right? So yeah, when you keep that in mind, right? you can't be mad about this thing. This is not an elite network that you're paying for. This is not a paid service. This is not something you can complain about, right? And most of all, I think something that I have always come up with in the military as well is you cannot control what you cannot control. All right. I can't control what happens on VATSIM. I'm not the guy. I'm not, I don't own VATSIM. I don't run VATSIM. I'm not a supervisor. I am merely a user of a free network that anybody is free to join. So, yeah, you can sit there and complain and cry about it all day, but at the end of the day, it's not going to fix nothing. So,
Yep.
whenever something comes across your way, if it's bad enough to be .wallop and reported, do it. Shut the hell up. Keep going with your day. Have fun, right? That's the way I look at it, right? I'm not going to let that bother me. I'm not going to let that ruin my experience and all that good stuff, right? So that kind of wanted to get that off my chest, right? Because again, I used to be that guy. I used to be the guy that used to rage quit and get out of VETSIM. This sucks, right? But I kind of evolved with time, and I'm like, okay, look, this is what it is, right? I can't change that. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to fix it. Me complaining about it and letting that ruin my experience is not going to do nothing for me. So I'm just going to overlook the situation. If I need to wallop somebody, I do, right? Um, and move on, right? And keep having fun.
Yeah.
So let's hear Al's take on this since he's the young guy here in the lobby. Oh, by the way, before we go to Al's, for everybody that's in chat, if you want to join in on the conversation to kind of give us your very condensed opinion, okay, you're not going to sit here for 3 hours talking about your life story, but if you want to give us a very condensed opinion on a certain topic, all you need to do is pop in the waiting room down below the live on the Discord, and as soon as I see you, I'll pull you up once we get a little bit of time in between subjects, and you can come on and kind of talk to us. You don't have to have your camera on. You can just come on. If you're shy or whatnot, the camera does not need to be on. But yeah, so that's a thing. You can actually join into the conversation. We'll bring you up for a few minutes, kind of give you the mic for a little bit, and then we can kind of discuss on your opinion as well. So yeah, let's go to House. House, what do you think, man? Obviously, I went on my little rant about the VATSIM thing, but again, the community in general, which I guess VATSIM is part of the FLIGHTSIM community, right?
Well, yeah. So I would say I'm a little bit newer to the community per se. So if we're talking about VATSIM wise, I think we figured out the last podcast that I started in, what is it, 2022 or 2023? Early, I think it was late 2022. So I would say it's only 2024 now. So I've been in, I would say, real aviation simulation for about 2 years now. And one thing I could say about really flying, just in general in VATSIM, is you guys were talking about years ago. You guys were the people that were, running off the runways and not knowing what to say and getting kicked off the network. But for me, that was basically yesterday. I think I just recently started getting better at even calls, learning flight planning, especially now with streaming. Like actually, not just saying, okay, I'm going to descend via the random arrival. I'm actually knowing what I'm going to be expecting and doing on that arrival. And then coming into streaming now, I think I want to say I've been streaming a little over a year now. So it's kind of similar to Mike, a little bit over a year. And one thing I've noticed is there is a lot of people that I hate to say the word smooth brain, but there's a lot of smooth brain people. And that's in my streams, just aviation servers I've been in, and even just VATSIM. There's some people, I wouldn't say some, I want to say most people that come into the community, they just think it's so simple. Like one thing is on VATSIM per se, they think they could just log in and they think they could fly. And if they do something wrong, why'd I get kicked out? What did I do wrong? And you go onto YouTube and you see people complaining to Captain Canada about why are the sharklets not out. He gives an in-depth reason and they're like, well, why are they not out? So I think the biggest thing I'm trying to say is I can still consider myself part of those people that are the young ones that aren't fully educated with everything yet, but there's a point where it comes to just we need common sense back in the flight sim. It seems like nobody has common sense anymore. It's at all. I mean, it's again going back to airplanes, saying where's the 737 Max? I know as much as you do. Where is the iFly 737 Max? After I just answer it, I just answered it. Even when it comes to VATSIM and PC questions, I get in my DMs every now and then. It's like I love helping people, but when people come to me and they're asking questions that are a quick Google search that would give them a better answer that I even could, it gets to a point where it's like, come on, guys, we're gonna have to some gears are gonna start to turn here. But that's my little sense on it.
I have to agree when it comes to the whole common sense thing. It's just that, I found owls about a year ago when I first started within the YouTube community and streaming and this, that, the third. And when I first joined his stream, I remember he was flying some route with a Velo in the 7.3, and I joined in towards the tail end of his stream, and I was like, "Hey, man, content looks freaking awesome. I do YouTube as well. We should sit down and talk sometime, and I'd like to pick your brain." So I genuinely thought Owls was young 20s, genuinely, right? And then a couple of streams went by, and then he told you, "Oh man, I'm 15 years old." I was like, "There's no freaking way," right? So when I found Owls and all that stuff, Owls have reminded me of me when I was his age, right? Of about when I was coming up in the flight sim community and learning stuff and this, that, the third. And where I agree with Owls when it comes to the common sense stuff is back in the day, when I was getting started, I took the time out of my day to learn and to read and to educate myself, excuse me, educate myself on what it is that is necessary for these types of platforms such as VATSIM, even now like Pilot Edge and stuff like that. We don't see that now, right? We see it now. Accounts are just created and they just jump on and expect to be walked through the process of what to do and how to do and where to do it, kind of thing. So I agree that common sense is kind of lacking right now when it comes to setting expectations for what it is that you need to be doing and what to expect when you come onto these networks, right? So when you hit the connect button, there's something that you have to do there. There are things that you have to follow, guidelines and policies that you have to follow, a code of conduct, this, that, the third, which today I guarantee you the code of conduct is overlooked by 90% of VATSIM users, right? And for me, when it comes down to that, it's as Owl said, it's as simple as a Google search. If you don't know something, just look it up, and you've got people in the community that are willing to help as well. Owls has helped me tremendously with my YouTube and doing different things, this, that, the third. He's given me advice, and people are sitting there like, why are you taking advice from someone that's 12 years younger than you? It's like, well, it has nothing to do with age, it has to do with knowledge. He knows more than I do, right? He could be 10 for all I care. If he knows what he's talking about, I'm going to listen to him, right? So again, common sense. And this is again where my point to entitlement comes in. It's like everybody feels that they're entitled to be treated as an upstanding community member within the flight sim community just because they hit the connect button within vPilot or xPilot. Like just because you have an account doesn't mean that you are, you're valued within that space because you're logging on and you have no idea what you're doing, right? So and to that point, with VATSIM, it is an educating platform. I say that all the time on my channels. Like just because someone doesn't know what they're doing doesn't mean they can't learn what to do. However, they have to make that effort. They can't just hop on and expect someone to do it for them.
Effort. Right? Keyword effort.
Yeah. You have to make the effort, right?
Well, let me stop you there for a second. With effort, right? I get it. I get it. All of us have read the COC on VATSIM, right? So we know what the COC says. We know what you need to be doing as far as a pilot or an ATC and all that good nonsense, right? However, it doesn't take much to join VATSIM, right? You create an account, you tell them you're 13 years old, you join VATSIM, and within less than 1 hour, you are on VATSIM flying. Yeah. So having said that, the little 9-year-old, the little 10-year-old, or the very incompetent, it doesn't even have to be a 9-year-old, right? It could be a grown dude. It could be a grown person that says, it could be a 20-plus-year-old person that has never done this before, and they see OWLZzFS flying on the network, and it's like, oh, I want to go do that, right? I just bought Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 yesterday. I want to go do that with Owls. That's my guy, right? And so he logs in, he creates an account, right? He logs in, and next thing you know, he's on VATSIM, acting a fool or not doing the right things and not knowing what's right from left and up, down, and all that good nonsense, right? So what I'm trying to get to is there is all these rules and regulations and and COC code of conducts and all the good stuff on the VATSIM. How many people do you think actually take the time to go read that stuff? Right?
None.
I can tell you that's probably a lot less than what you think, right? So if you say none, it's probably negative 15, right? So not many people do that, right? So there's nothing enforcing them from doing that. There's nothing saying, hey, you got a trial period, you got this, you got that, you got to pass this one-on-one with a controller or supervisor. There's none of that. So to have that very high expectation of people and their code of conduct on VATSIM, I don't think is right because it's not going to happen. You cannot.
I can agree
You
with
cannot. You cannot have that high expectation of people on VATSIM when it's not even enforced by VATSIM themselves. You see, you see what I'm trying to get to?
that.
Is
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
it makes sense.
That you go to the about page on VATSIM, and the first line says, "This is a network created for anybody, new, old, young, young or elder. It doesn't matter. Come on in, come have some fun on VATSIM." So whenever that's the message that put across, right? Then what do you expect?
Mm.
You are to expect people that are not going to know what they're doing. You are to expect people that are. You're going to have the people that are not going to know what they're doing, but they're really trying hard to learn and trying to figure it out. And you're going to have the people that just don't care, right? We all have those. And then you have the serious fly simmers. They're stuck in the middle and they're like, "Oh, this is crap," right? But at the same time, you don't see it too often because when it does happen, the only time that it's really detrimental to us as a content creator is when there's no supervisor line and you got to dot wall up and you got to do this and you got to do that, you got to report them and all this good nonsense. But when we have an ATC controller online and it's a controlled airspace, the ATC is going to take care of it, right? There's no mistake to be making there. If they catch it, they hear it, whatever, they're like, "Hey, dude, what are you doing?" Right? Uh, no, that's not. No, look, man, you know what you're doing. Go ahead and log off. Come back when you know what the hell you're doing, right? And I've seen that happen numerous times, right? So the fact is that a lot of times when we do fly, there's no controller. So you're on 122.8, and you're gonna catch all this so-called we called them in the past little teamies, but it doesn't matter. It could be a grown-ass person.
British Airways
Yeah,
212.
So again, yes, it irritates me because um I've lost friends from it, right? I lost a good friend from all this crap because again, I think it's I want to say that it's probably a combination of things, but um an inability to adapt, inability to overcome, inability to look past the BS, right? How are you a grown person and you are unable to do that? You're not able to look past it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just keep having a good time with your people that you like to enjoy flying with, right? That's the thing that kind of like stuck with me. It's like, dude, this person can't do that, and he's willing to give up his hobby, give up his friendships with other people and all the good stuff in order not to deal with this stuff no more. So it's got to be hard for him and to not be able to do that anymore. And it's hard for me because again, I lost a good friend, right? In my opinion. Um, but yeah, we do have a couple of people here on the waiting room. Unless you guys got more to add on this, we can start bringing some people up and see what they got to say. Let me know.
Oh no, I'm good.
You guys good? All right, we'll bring up real quick Aviation Gaming Inc. Please make sure your microphones are working, guys. All right. If they're not working, I'm just gonna disconnect you. All right. Aviation Gaming Inc.
Also, quick thing before we get started with that, we got 70 people in here, man. If you guys aren't already, smash the like button in the freaking face and help us out,
yeah.
man. We appreciate you guys stopping it.
We
I
had
appreciate you.
72 in the chat earlier as well, man. The legend himself.
Oh, XP72 was in there. I'm sorry, I'm not even
Yeah, he was in
looking
here.
at Well, yeah, Mr. XP, he's been on the show before, so appreciate
Yeah.
you stopping by and say what's up, Mr. XP 72, the man himself. Mr. Aviation Gaming Inc., what you got, man? Let us know.
So I'm gonna add on to what you have said already. So I totally agree that I feel like whatever age you are, it doesn't matter. Um, but I feel like what you should before you join on VATSIM, I feel like you should know a couple of things. First of all, know your aircraft. I've been told this a bunch of times, and I do it, and I tell other people. If you don't know how to fly the aircraft, you're gonna be a little screwed. Let's put it like that, because you don't know what to do. Let's say I fly the Phoenix A320 a lot now, and if I just pop in, let's say I give it to some random other person and I say fly this aircraft on VATSIM, they have no idea how to even start up the aircraft. So they're just gonna make so much chaos on the like in the system of VATSIM. So I feel like that's one thing you should like first know before you join VATSIM. Another thing is like know study the rules. Let's say like know your boundaries because you don't want to be doing something stupid that's whole out of like the range and stuff, and like know what you should be doing, you know. And yeah, that's really much it. And this is to add on to what you guys were saying about VATSIM. I feel like anybody can do it as long as if you know your facts.
Okay. How long have you been on VETSIM?
Um, I had it for about a year now. I don't fly that much on it because I keep going onto new aircrafts over and over and over. So I just keep trying and yeah. And then another thing is that if you're gonna be on VATSIM, I feel like you should always don't disconnect in the middle of nowhere because then it just holds up another thing. So that's another thing. I always have to find lots of time. I feel like to do a flight, and yeah, then I just end up deciding to do it either in the sim, let's say with offline, or yeah, I just end up not doing the flight. But I've been on it for about 5-ish months.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's all good stuff, right? Yeah, definitely learn your aircraft. Another thing I would say is stick with one airplane. If you're new to the game, right? And when I say game, I don't mean to refer to the flight sim as a game. I mean in the realm of flight simulation, right? If you're new to it, don't jump from Phoenix to PMDG to all these different planes. Learn one plane, learn how to fly the plane, do a route that you're familiar with more than just once, right? Log in as observer. Like we all talked about this. Log in as observer, listen, simulate, learn the lingo, listen to ATC live on the internet. All this stuff has been said. But yeah, thank you, Aviation Gaming. I appreciate
Oh,
you for up and up, guys. You guys, anything to say about what Aviation Gaming was saying?
I think he had a good point on the first thing, saying learn your aircraft. That's the main thing with VATSIM. I think everybody can agree with me. If you can at least know how to fly your airplane, I think when you're trying to learn ATC, it makes it 1,000 times easier. If you know where your heading indicator is and they say turn left heading 240, hey, I might not remember what he said, but I know he said a heading. So, hey, I'm looking at this pane. I'm going to be ready to scroll in what number he told me. So I think that's one of the actual biggest things of VATSIM is people just not knowing how to fly their airplanes. But I think that's a good point.
So somebody was saying stream ended or something. I don't see anything on my
Yeah, you
part.
gotta
On my part,
refresh
we're
it.
still good.
It went down for the matter of a half a
Yeah.
second and came back online. So
That's
we're
probably
good.
that's probably YouTube because my OBS was all green
Yeah.
all the time. But yeah, appreciate you guys.
And
Yeah,
I couldn't agree more. I do agree with the notion that if you know your aircraft, the rest will come easy. If the aircraft is not known, you're adding so much stress to your plate when you're trying, along with VATSIM, trying to take direction from a controller, and you're still learning the airplane. It adds so much to what you have to do in order to have a successful flight within the network, because the airplane is going to take up 90% of your what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to take up majority of what you're focused on. It's going to take 90% of your focus away from the controller. So when you're actively trying to fix something that has broken within the airplane because of something, whether it be a lack of knowledge of a system or a lack of understanding when it comes to, sorry, excuse me, dogs are going ballistic. Um, again, just I agree with learning the airplane. That's going to take so much stress off your shoulders, because if you know how to fly it, learning the ATC side of it's going to be very easy. because that's all just a matter of being able to sit down and talk with someone saying, okay, well, you told me to do this. Can you explain that to me if you have the time? I would appreciate it, kind of thing, right? And so and
I'm
that's
sorry,
what I did.
I'm
It's
not
like
laughing at you. I'm laughing at your
it's
dog, dude.
Ruby, yeah. My brother just got home, so she's a bit she
Excited.
goes again, yeah.
She's a little excited.
So I agree with it, and again, my opinion on all of this comes to a lack of discipline with new pilots, right? I think VATSIM is not taken very seriously on both ends, right? VATSIM does nothing to combat it or police this stuff, but at the same time, people don't do enough to police themselves. It's like if you know you're joining a network that is taken within, I'd say, in a 98th percentile, majority of the time, serious by most flight simmers, you should understand that when you join this isn't just an Xbox Live party. This isn't a GTA 5 online session. This is something that you have to understand and be able to have the knowledge to be able to be successful with it. Go point A to point B. You might not know. I mean, I still don't know everything. There's still things that I learn, right? But at least within the time frame of that flight, I have the ability to look at the controller and say, hey, you did tell me to do this. I think I did it correctly. And if I mess up, please correct me and advise me, what's a better procedure to go forward. I've done that thousands of times before. And controllers have been very up forth and have been very good about coming on and saying, hey, I sent you a DM. Here's the explanation of that procedure right there. And I'm like, cool, sweet. Now I have the ability to go and check out what it is that he told me to do. So the next time I'm told to do that, I have the ability to be successful in doing so, right? So I agree.
Well,
I agree a lot with it. And he sounded very mature for his age. I was not expecting that voice. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you this about controllers on VATSIM, right? Every time I hear somebody complain about a controller, I directly think that it was probably the pilot's fault, right? And I'll tell you why. Because I've been on VATSIM for a long time, okay? And I can't even remember the last time I had a better experience because of a controller. Does stuff happen? Yeah, sure. Do I get turned in for final and maybe I'm 1,500 feet a little too high and I got to tell them, hey, I need to go around because I'm too high? But that's part of the thing. That's part of the immersion and realism piece, right? Because this stuff happens in the real world. The controller is going to tell you turn right, capture the localizer, clear land, all that good stuff, and it's up to the pilot to say, "Hey, dude, no, I'm 1,000 feet above profile. I can't do it. Right? You're gonna need to send me around." So I've had that happen, but can you really blame the controller that much? Sure, people make mistakes. That's what I like about VATSIM, right? The part that the piece that human factor is there. The ability for people to make mistakes. ATC makes mistakes, pilots makes mistakes. That factor is there, and that's what I think, to me, makes the whole experience a bit more immersive and real, right? Because if I fly offline and I use an AI ATC, the ATC is never going to fail me unless the software crashes, right? So, what's the point? There's no
Hey,
realism
CSC, I
there.
apologize. I
Yeah.
will be right back. Give me 2 minutes. I just got to step away for just a
Oh
second.
yeah, you're good, man. So yeah, that's what's real to me. The fact that realism factor to me comes into play when you have real people on the other end of the microphone, right, talking to you. Not when you have a fake AI ATC talking to you. That's not real. That's fake. That's made up. That's human made, right? It's not real. That's my opinion on AI. Now it might be a good tool for people to learn on, for people to start with, beyond ATC and same tensions and all that good stuff, right? That's coming out. It might be an outstanding tool to get you going before VATSIM. Jimmy, thank you. And but it's not real, right? At the end of the day, it's fake. It's man-made. Um, so that's my 2 cents on that. We do have Shrek down there, real ATC on VETSIM. You think we should bring him up and see what he have to say about this?
Oh yeah. I'll tell you, I also agree with what King
Yeah, go
Bob
for
said. He
it.
said, big tip I learned the hard way. Don't have your first VATSIM flight on event night. Well, that reminds me of, I have a Snapchat, right? Yeah, I'm younger. I have a Snapchat of when I first got SIM as an X-Plane.
Hold on, time out. For the old
Okay.
people, and what is
Okay.
Snapchat?
Okay,
I'm just
you
playing.
know,
Go ahead. I just
Snapchat.
play. I just play.
Yeah.
I just play.
Anyways, but I first got to explain, and I got the sim, and I was being like, "Hey guys, look at this! I could fly this airplane on the sim." I was trying to flex to my friends or something, and I have a saved Snapchat of me saying, "I took a 747 from Los Angeles to Honolulu," and in the snap it says, "Why do I do this to myself? 8-hour long haul." If anybody is educated on or just have done the flight before, LA to Honolulu is indeed not an 8-hour flight. So obviously I didn't know what I was doing. And that also reminds me when I would go into Atlanta. Now, like a year and a half ago, I want to say, Atlanta used to be a really busy airport. It still is, but it used to always have controlling every night, be tower ground, sometimes even delivering. There'll be 15 planes there. Usually, that's how it used to be. I don't know what happened, but it was like that a lot. And that's when I was just then learning the TOLUS. I got the TOLUS and the Zebo 7.3, and I would go into that busy airport and try to fly. And again, giving the same knowledge of that Snapchat I had, I didn't know what I was doing. So that's a good thing. Again, going back to learn your airplane before you fly on the VATSIM network.
That goes to show you, right? you look at OWLZzFS YouTube channel today, and you look at what he's doing. That was not what he was doing last year, right? Let's all be fair. What I'm doing today on VATSIM or on the network, flying around my plane and trying to be as real as I possibly can with the limited knowledge that I have when it comes to being a pilot, right? Is not what I was doing a lot longer ago. Okay, so again, when we have those people that are new to the community, that are new to the hobby, I wasn't always of this opinion, but at the same time, now you got to look at yourself as a bigger piece of the community, right? Especially when you're putting out products and you start to have a following and people actually follow you and watch you, right? You got to be the bigger man, right? You got to be the guy that says, "Look, man, these people are new. We need to either, we need to be able to take them on board, teach them, right? Let them know, hey, I've seen right, and that's not right what you're doing right there, right? Because they're new to the hobby, right? So instead of kicking them around the curb or making them uh, uh, telling them how stupid they are because they can't read a VOR, they don't know what a VOR is. And I understand a lot of people are like, well, they should do that on their own. They can't just, blah, blah, blah. Look, nobody done this on their own. No one has done this on their own. Okay. I don't care who you are. V1 simulation didn't become a pilot overnight. No one did this on their own. Okay. So as a grown dude, right, I have changed my ways, right? I am willing to embrace the newer generation on the flight sim community, and I'm willing to help you out. There's tons of resources on my Discord. There's tons of resources on Mikey's Discord, Al's Discord. I got a channel dedicated to pilot resources with charts and links and everything you need to know about flight simulation and what tools to have, Navigraph, ChartFox. I mean, you name it, right? It's all there, guys. That's the other thing that kind of like what Al's was saying before. Like when you get the question, like, "Oh, hey, CST Gaming, you know, what's the discount code for this, bro? It's in my channel partners channel, bro. It's all there. Oh, okay. Hey, CST, where
No.
do I get Navigraph, bro? Go to Palo Resources. It's all there, right? So I understand your pain, Al's, but at the same time, um, some people just don't look. I mean, for crying out loud, Flight with Lotto. I mean, he's a grown person, right? I would assume that he has a lot of common sense. But Flight with Lotto asks me all the time, "Hey man, where do I get this, bro? There's a channel for it." Oh yeah, 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 right. But understand that he takes medicine, right? So yeah, let's not talk about that. Where are you at, Lotto? Hi, with Lotto. Where you at? Anyways, guys. Yeah. So we were gonna bring up, unless anybody else got anything to add about this, we were gonna bring up an actual ATC in there and see what he's got to say about this whole
He's already prepared. He unmuted his
Yeah.
mic and everything.
look at him,
Yeah,
dude. He's ready
sorry.
to go. I can see
sorry, I
him
had to-
stretching over there. He's all like,
He's getting ready to go.
Yeah, sorry I had to step away. My 4-year-old niece decided to surprise and stop by with my
The excuses.
say
Look,
hello.
That's great.
Lado, why you throwing me under
Excuses.
the bus like that? Lado, I love you, dude. You my dude. All right, let's bring up Shrek, see what he's got to say. Shrek, you ready? Unmute yourself if you're ready. I'm bringing you
Yeah,
up
if you
anyway.
guys are enjoying this,
He's
okay,
ready
never
now.
mind.
Well, thanks, Alice. Appreciate you, brother. I know what you were about to say. Not but love.
Hello.
Andrew, my
Hello,
guy.
welcome,
What's
welcome,
going
Andrew.
on?
Welcome.
Yeah.
What you got, my
So
dude?
first I want to kind of touch on what CSC said. Like, I don't know, that stream's delayed. I don't know how long it was, but like 3 minutes ago.
Mhm.
Charts. Use charts. It is your best friend. They are your best friend, especially when flying on the network, because they tell you step by step what to expect, what altitudes, what speeds need to be at, what waypoints are supposed to be in your route. Like, you be in front of the controller. Be prepared for what the controller is going to say. And charts are really helpful, whether it's Navigraph, ChartFox, like any of those, SkyVector even, like very important necessity to have when flying on the VATSIM network from a controller's perspective and a pilot.
Yeah, for those
And
that don't know, Andrew is part of the ZLA ArtCC or Seattle area ArtCC, if you would. He does Portland Tower right now. Is working on becoming a higher controller within the Seattle airspaces and stuff like that. So if you're around the Portland area, you've flown into Portland with Tower Online, you've most likely ran into Andrew. So he is a controller on the VATSIM network and Seattle as well. Yeah, that's correct.
But yeah, charts is definitely, for me, like one of the most important things you can have when flying. And like, if you aren't able to access charts, controllers have resources that can get you access to charts, whether it's from their like side of things, where it's on their like what we look at like chart wise. Like, we have special charts for controllers, and we are able to send links for those. It's also a big one. So, but mainly charts. That's like the most important thing you can have while flying on the network, other than a plane you know how to fly. And also, don't fly like default planes on the network, because like they don't work. It's like, you notice like the newer pilots on the network, they're all flying
Yoham $2.79.
like
Indubitably
default planes
true
like the Subway
statements.
320, and it just causes problems because they don't know what they're doing. For one, they don't have charts on board. Half the buttons on the airplane doesn't work.
Thanks, Johan.
So, oh yeah, him with a $2 donation or whatever it was. I just saw that. Again, it's delayed.
He's
Now,
just
there are
trying.
some
He's
default
just
planes.
He's just trying to make me say indubitably.
Now, I will say there are some default planes that I have flown on the network that are actually very, very good, such
Oh
as
yeah,
the
100%.
Citation Longitude, the CJ4, the King Air, the Cessnas, the TBMs, so on and so forth. But that 320, bruh.
It's great. I don't know what you mean. That plane's amazing. Freaking fantastic, man.
If working title has worked on the airplane, it's gonna be better.
No, the original one, the Zobo.
The original one.
Oh, okay.
It's honestly one of the best
V2 is
planes.
flyable. I think any builds needs to work on that.
Oh, the V2 is flyable. Yeah, 100%.
I kind of wanted to get your side on the other portion. I understand that we can sit here and talk about all the right things that you need to do, and the wrong things that you need to stay away from. We've done that before, right? But I was kind of trying to get the other piece of the situation, especially with an ATC. That's actually great. I don't know how long have you been an ATC on VATSIM?
About 1.5 years.
Okay, so you've seen some things. The fact, and it's my opinion, right? I could be wrong, right? It's irrelevant, but what I was saying about the ability for anyone to log in, to create an account, no matter how old you are, right? Because yeah, sure, the age requirement is there, but let's be honest, okay? Anybody can join, any age, right? As long as you can speak and type, you can tell people you're 13, and even if you sound like fibers, but sorry, fibers, but that's neither here or there. But what I'm saying is, you can create an account, you can join the network. You don't have to have any type of experience. You don't need to be a pilot, or you don't need any of that, right? So basically, the motto of VATSIM, and it's on the very front page, is you can create an account and get on the network in less than an hour and fly new or old, experienced or not. You can do it. So there's nothing there. Obviously, there's a kind of conduct, but again, I have already stated my opinion on that. Nobody's gonna read the code of conduct, especially a little kid. He's not gonna go read the code of conduct. He's just gonna be like, how do I create my account? How do I get to go fly with MickityyyMike? How do I get to go fly with OWLZzFS? How do I get to go fly with Captain Canada? Right? That's what the little kid is gonna do. The inexperienced pilot. I keep saying little kid, but it doesn't have to be a little kid. It could be a grown dude. It could be a 20-year-old, right?
Oh,
That
yeah,
has
we've
never
heard
done this before, right?
grown people on the network that
That's what I'm
don't
saying.
know what they're doing.
I keep saying little kid, but I'm wrong, and I apologize for that. It doesn't have to be a little kid. Let's just call them inexperienced people, or you know, that maybe haven't done this for a very long time, and they see the content creator and they want to go flying because they have a Congo line or whatever, right? So in less than an hour, you create your account, you're on a network, and you are screwing stuff up. So what is your opinion on that? And I don't want your I'm a VATSIM controller opinion. I want your personal opinion. I want your real opinion, right? I don't want you to, I don't know if you've signed an NDA with VATSIM and be like, you can't talk bad about us, right? I don't know, but I'm just saying, what is your personal opinion on that piece, right?
No, I have not signed an NDA. I'm not that
I
special.
was just joking.
But I know. But so when I'm gonna be honest, when I joined VATSIM back in, well, I think it was late 2020, I was not of the age of 13. I lied about my age. My age is not the correct age on VATSIM. Now obviously I'm of age. But the test you have to take to become a member and get your CID or whatever it is, it's very simple. It literally someone in kindergarten can do it. Like, you have to match some shapes to like the correct shape or whatever it was, if I remember correctly.
You didn't have to tell us this because we see people come from kindergarten on the network. So that's kind of my piece, right? It's like
yeah, exactly. Like they need to make it harder.
Not only is it easy, it's outdated.
It's very outdated.
It's the same same test that I took back in 16 when I was joining the network, 2014, 2015.
Yeah, exactly.
Like same exact test.
And like I don't remember much about it, but I don't remember anything like air traffic control related, like on it at all. Like how to talk to an ATC, or like what a traffic pattern is, or like the basics you kind of need to know to fly on the network. At least I don't remember anything about it. But and yeah, the code of conduct, I think it needs to be like you need to be taken to that page before you're able to even sign up for the network. And like you need to read it because the code of conduct is very important. Like you need to read it or you're gonna get suspended.
Well, and again, I agree with you on all this, but telling somebody that's new to this hobby you need to read the code of conduct, it's like telling my little kids you need to eat vegetables, right? It's the same thing. Yeah. It's not gonna happen, bro. So even knowing that fact, because we all know it, anybody that has a little bit of common sense knows the fact that they're not going to read it, right? They're just not going to read it. They're going to find out the hard way sooner or later, but they're not going to read it, right? They're like, oh, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to do that on VATSIM. Well, how did you not know? It's on the code of conduct, number 2, whatever, right? It's right there. What do you mean you didn't know, right? So eventually it might catch up to them. If they get lucky, they might learn and then maybe get past that point of being that person, right? That individual on VATSIM. There's a lot of people that say, hey, ID verification, all this other nonsense. Look, it's a free network. They can't do that. They're not going to do that. It's not a police type of environment where you got to pay for membership and all that good stuff, and you got to provide that type of information, right? So the ID verification, it's not something they're going to do, or maybe even willing to do, to be honest. So I know I
think they do though.
Well, is that something? I signed up a long time ago. I didn't even have to take a test. So to me, if they're doing ID now, it's something new. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's if you're not. I think if you get your account and then they, say you got reported or whopped or something, they start investigating you. And they see your account.
I know about that.
They see something. Yeah. Okay.
That's if you get reported or whatnot, and then you got to provide some type of proof. And we're seeing big name content creators going through that issue, right? So. But that's not relevant. But yeah, it's not something that they're gonna do, right? If it was a paid network with paid staff and all that good stuff, it'd probably be a different story. But the thing is, it's a network that's really enforced by the community, right? So we are the people that wall up the individual, and then the supervisor come along, and even when that happens, right? If you haven't really done this thing day in and day out, or the supervisor is 9 times out of 10 not going to do a whole lot, right? They're just going to talk to him like, hey, stop doing what you're doing, man. That's wrong. And then they're going to let him go. So it's got to be reported numerous times. That I don't know what the rules are exactly, but I've talked to a supervisor before, and it's like, hey, this is kind of like the things we looked at, yada yada yada. They don't just automatically go in and ban somebody, right? That's what I'm trying to get to. So yeah, I get what you're saying, Andrew. Um, but yeah, it's just not there, right? That process is not there. The test is easy, like you said. So having known all this, I go back to what I was saying before, right? Me as a avid flight simmer, I cannot expect perfection or highly, everybody has the knowledge, everybody knows what they're doing. I can't expect that when I know it's that easy for anyone to get in the network, right? The process is just not there. There's no trial period. There's no voice interview. There is none of that stuff is there. And I think I know why it's not there, and it's because of the fact that it's a free network for everybody to join, new or old, whatever, right? So again, when that's the motto, then you got to expect you're gonna have some kindergarten trying to fly a plane, or an older person trying to fly the plane that it's never done before. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So you're gonna have that incompetence. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and it's always been there. It's just I don't think it was even the thing back in the days, right? When this wasn't an Xbox type thing. So I see a lot of people that blame it on, oh, it's the Xbox users. Well, first of all, let's bring the common sense piece back into place. If you're on Xbox, you can't get on VATSIM. So stop blaming the Xbox community for the incompetence on VATSIM, right? I hate when people do that. Oh, it's the Xbox user. The Xbox users are doing it. No, the Xbox users are doing missions. They're doing other stuff. They're not doing the VATSIM, right? Um, so yeah, again, I go back to anybody can join, and there's no process in place, right? The test is too easy. The age requirement is not checked. Um, there's no interview. There's no trials. There's none of that, right? So I'm not gonna. I'm not. I'm no. I used to be the guy, but I am no longer the guy that expects excellence on VATSIM or expects everybody to know everything, to be a seasoned pilot, or expect, hey, that guy, I know for a fact because the code of conduct says so. That guy knows how to fly his plane, or that guy knows how to read his chart. No, it's not going to happen, dude. It's not going to happen, right? Unless there's a process in place that enforces that stuff. So, um, I taken a, I want to take it upon myself, and I've started doing that a while back, right? I got numerous people in my community, in my Discord, that I've brought into the flexing community. For example, Turbo, Mamba, right? These are people that I brought in, and I was like, hey, this is what you need to do. This is what, Turbo, for example, was one of those guys that when he first got onto the hobby, uh, the dude didn't fly nothing but KOKC and Dallas and back and Dallas and back and Dallas and back, KOKC. That's what he did for a very long time until he was like, okay, now I'm comfortable to go outside of KOKC, right? So that's what he did, and he flew one plane, right? That's what he did. That's the right way to do it, I think, right? Observer mode and all the
100%
stuff.
agree with that.
Jesus Christ, quick lift.
Quick lift $50.
With the $50
Please don't
bump.
hate me.
What is your malfunction, my dude? Thank you so much for that
What?
$50 bump.
Why?
I really do appreciate you, man.
Holy shit.
Really, really do appreciate you. Guys, spam those salutes emojis in chat, or whatever emojis you got if you're not a member for Quick Lift. Thank you so much, dude. And he says, please don't hate me. I hate you for the $50. That was unnecessary, but thanks, brother. Yeah. So yeah, guys, you guys have anything to add? But and again, and Andrew, just correct me if I'm wrong, bro. It's I'm not
No.
claiming to be right.
I 100% agree with you on this because, like you said, there's nothing's in place to enforce any of these rules besides someone like a pilot or a controller who can wall up somebody, and the supervisor can talk to him and maybe give him some resources. And like you said, there's a low chance that they actually read them. They just go spawn another airport and go fly again. Hope they don't make the same mistake as last time. And to touch on what you said about your friend there who was flying the same route for a long time, same plane. That's exactly what I did as well to learn the network and learn how like things work. I just did Seattle to Portland about, I'd say 100 times at least in the 737, just to learn the plane, learn how it like learn how it works,
Oh yeah,
learn the
Vegas,
ATC
LA,
side of
Vegas,
it.
Phoenix for me. Those are my 2 routes when I was learning.
Yeah,
Atlanta, Jacksonville.
like I think
Yeah, I
that is
mean,
one of the most important things you can do is fly
yeah,
that same route, same plane, and learn.
Yeah,
yeah. We
and I'll
say
tell
we
you,
say
I
that all
think,
the time, right? So yeah, go ahead,
yeah,
Mike.
I think, and Andrew can correct me if I'm wrong on this, and this has been my personal opinion for years, because before you know, I might still be on the younger side, right? But I've been around on the VATSIM network before the new voice codec was a thing. Yeah, you remember years ago, before the new voice codec was a thing, it was so hard to understand people on the network because it was just so it was squelchy. Like you couldn't hear anything, you couldn't understand what people were saying, right? And people keep saying that VATSIM this, VATSIM that, they don't have a process this, they don't have a process that. Well, in reality, they really can't because of the fact of how VATSIM is branded as a company, right? It is a volunteer network, right? So these are people that are just volunteering their time to provide ATC services to those in the flight simulation community that want a little bit more realism when it comes to the aspect of flight simming, right? So we take Pilot Edge for an example, right? Pilot Edge is a paid services for those that don't know what Pilot Edge is. It's another ATC network that covers the entire west coast of central United States, all the way from the coast of California, I think, to the far east coast of Colorado, I think is as far as the service goes, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a top-down coverage service from a certain time of the day to a certain time at night. I think it's like 8 a.m. to like 8 p.m. or something. It's like a 12-hour service where these controllers actually hop on and are paid hourly by the owner of the company. Right? These are paid controllers that come in and give you services, and it's no bullshit services. Excuse my language, but it's like you mess up, right? They'll tell you it's a possible pilot deviation if you don't do what they say, right? Type thing. And the reason they're able to do that, and when you join Pilot Edge, you have to go through VFR classes. You have to go through a session with another controller to make sure that you know what you're doing before they even allow you to attempt a flight on the network. VATSIM will never be able to get to that point because A, the amount of people that are on the VATSIM network, B, the lack of, per se, monetary value that VATSIM brings in as a company, right? Now, granted, people donate to them and give them the ability to spend the money to make the network better, but it's never going to get to the point where they're going to have a system in place to where they just have a group of people that are required on a daily basis to go on and vet accounts and look at accounts and make sure they just hop on as a supervisor and pay attention to the traffic within the airspace, just like a real world ATC supervisor would just be standing behind their guy at the scope, making sure that the planes are doing what they're supposed to be saying and the controller is doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? I don't think it'll ever get to that point because it's just such a big network and it's never gotten to the point. It's 10 years later since I've joined, it's still the same VATSIM it was when I joined, with the exception of some new updates and voice codecs and better looking AI planes when you're with people and this, that, the third. Like it's a quality of life update versus an actual, how can we make this a more attractive service for people, if you would. The only reason VATSIM is so popular is because A, it's one of the only services available to do so, with the exception of IVAO and a couple of other things. But you look at the totality of all the networks we have available for free for people to join, VATSIM is your number one go-to, right? And if people don't want to pay the $35 a month to be a Pilot Edge subscriber, they're just going to hop on VATSIM, and if they don't know what they're doing, they don't know what they're doing. VATSIM can do nothing about it besides ban the account or suspend the account and send them an email saying, hey, before we give your account back, you need to prove you're able to do this. How can they prove that, though? Right? Type thing. So, that's just my 2 cents on it, right?
I'll tell you what, man. If it was
I gassed him up for that. I said he won't do 100. He won't.
Always offline. I'm willing to join VATSIM to fly alongside you gentlemen.
He won't. You won't do another one,
He's
Quick Lift.
speechless.
You won't.
Quick Lift, you are insane, my dude. Another $50 bump. What in the actual hell is going on, dude? Thank you so much, dude. That's very
Yeah, it looks like you
unnecessary,
need
but I
to-
really do appreciate it, man.
Looks like you need to have us on the channel more often, my guy.
Well, that's if you guys know me well, that's not why I do this. but
Right?
Thank
No,
you.
no, I know. I
really do
understand. I'm just
appreciate it,
fucking with
man.
you. Yeah, just messing around.
that's almost making me feel bad because I want people to keep their money. But I appreciate your support, man. Thank you so much. And you're supporting, by the way, you're supporting all of us, right? It's as a community. I really do appreciate your quick lift. I also want to say thank you to earlier. You guys were talking. I didn't want to interrupt, but thank you, Mamba, for the 5 gifted. And please, I know somebody already did, but if you received a free membership from Mamba, please be sure to say thank you to Mamba. Really do appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Um, I even forgot what I was saying. To see that when that happens, you lose your train of like what the hell just happened, right? So, but yeah, again, no, why we're talking about VATSIM when when we're talking community? Because again, within the community, that's a highly debated subject, right? Because you have people that are like VATSIM sucks. You got people that are like VATSIM is great. You got people that are like VATSIM is right. I can tell you right now, $35 a month. If Pilot Edge was worldwide, I would gladly pay
Oh
35
yeah,
bucks a month.
100
I will
percent.
gladly pay $50 a month, right? Especially now that
100%.
I got 50 from QuickLift. I would definitely pay 50. I'm just joking, bro. Just joking. But yeah, you know what I'm saying though? I would gladly do that. But I think the reason why Pilot Edge is what it is because those people are paid, right? As far if I'm not wrong, if I'm not mistaken, either those people are paid or they use the network to for training real ATCs, right? Like
Yeah,
Brandon was
so a
saying,
lot
it's
of the
certified
controllers,
controllers, right?
yeah, a lot of the controllers on Pilot Edge are either real world certified ATC controllers or those of that are in training to become ATC
Yeah,
controllers.
and I think they are paid for their time. That's why,
Yeah, they
and
are.
it's a
They are.
membership, right? You got to pay your over $10 a month. I think it is.
Yeah,
Last time I checked.
they are paid. They are paid hourly by the owner of the company
Right.
to be a
Yeah,
controller on that.
I know a couple controllers on the Pilot Edge network. They're
Right.
all real FAA certified controllers.
It might not be. It might not
they
be
get
that they
paid.
get paid. You know, they don't get paid probably a whole lot, but they get paid for their time, and at the same time, they're getting some good training for their real life stuff, right? And again, the reason that that particular network is not filled of people that are incompetent is the fact that you got to pay to be in it, right? Number one.
Training tool. The training tool.
Um,
Pilot Edge is
and
used widely across
and it's used
multiple
widely across
platforms.
not only for ATCs, but it's used with pilots as
Real
well
world
as a
training,
training tool,
yeah.
right? So that's why you don't see that stuff on Pilot Edge, right? That's why all those people are either on VATSIM or Avaya, right? So yeah, but Andrew, if you got nothing else, man, thank you so much for the convo, man. We're gonna see if there's anybody else that wants to come up. I really do appreciate you, brother.
Andrew, my guy.
Hey, see you guys. I have
Thank
nothing
you,
else.
brother.
Thanks for having me. So, yeah.
Yes, sir.
And just remember, guys, as a topic of conversation, I know we've kind of been talking about VATSIM just a lot as of recently. That's been a major topic of conversation, right? We are talking about the FLIGHTSIM community in its entirety, right? So if owls.
All right, maybe next time mute. Maybe I don't know.
We are talking about the FLIGHTSIM community in its entirety,
bowl
right?
of noodles.
So
What you got there?
Yeah, he's got that Murachan. Oh,
He said-
Fresca. I haven't seen those in a long time, man. What the hell? Yeah.
There you go.
But
there you go.
yeah, like I was saying, it is the FLIGHTSIM community its entirety. So we don't have to talk about VATSIM the entire time. So if you're wanting to come up and talk with PST about other topics, by all means. And granted, I'm not a host on this. I'm just VATSIM's been a huge topic this hour. So
yeah, I mean, it relates directly to my opening type when I said, hey, because of this particular subject, I lost a friend, right? So that's kind of like why we've been talking about this.
Yeah,
but yeah,
the
other thing, we can switch gears if you want before we bring somebody else up. But let's talk about content creators because lately I've I don't consider myself like this big YouTuber, right? I never did, right? So yes, is the channel growing? Yes, it's growing organically. I got my following. I got people that follow me all the time. I got people that leave me all the time too. And right the other day, but
baby come back.
But baby come back. But anyways, I don't consider me that person, right? But a lot of people are like, hey, dude, you're doing great. Keep it up. What up? Same thing with Mikey and Howls. Howls has obviously blown up like a balloon, and I am absolutely excited about Howls and what he's doing, and a young man with so much energy and always happy and all that good stuff. And I really do enjoy it, man. And and I think that's part of the reason the main reason why people actually grow that way is not because of flight simulation. It's because of who they are. It's because of
the
character.
person. It's the
It's because
content
of the
creator.
person, right? Because I don't tune in. I'm gonna be 100. I don't tune in to watch owls fly planes. I tune in to watch owls being all freaking high rate on the camera, talking about how fantastic the day is and how fantastic it is to see you, CST gaming. Hey, what's up, my guy? You know,
That's a 3,000 foot per minute landing, but I'll
you
take
know what I'm
it.
saying?
my guy.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, that was 3,000 foot, but hey, that was great. That looks amazing, right? It's always great. It's always fantastic when it comes with owls, right? So that's the kind of that's the kind of stuff that that you go for, right? So again, we have all talked about it, discussed it, looked at it, laughed about it, cried about it. Maybe not so much cried, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Ain't no bitch.
There is some people out there, right? That are they have a following. All right, we all know they got a following. This particular people, and again, I'm not trying to point anybody out. Don't ask who this person are. There's multiple, right? It's not just an individual. There's a bunch, right? And I'm not talking about either about the person that we sometimes make fun of because we are flight simmers, right? And oh my lord, dude.
He said,
Bro,
"Owls,
you need to stop, dude.
Quick lift $50. Owls, I've never lost a bet.
Insert SpongeBob I'm a head out meme, man.
Insert we're about to end the stream if you don't stop, my dude. All right, guys, I hit my what do you call it?
Goal.
I hit my goal for the day.
goal for the day.
End the stream. We'll see you guys later. I am out of here. Outro coming in? No, I'm just playing. Quick lift. Thank you so much, my dude. That's 150 freaking dollars. That ain't no small feat there, my dude. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate it. I at this point I don't even know what to say anymore. Thank you, buddy. I really do appreciate you, brother. Thank you for supporting the community. Thank you for supporting me, and appreciate having you.
I stream too. Quick lift.
Yeah, these guys are gonna be live tomorrow, so yeah, go look it up.
I'm joking.
Hey, want to hear your what to say on
Jesus Christ,
Facebook,
my dude.
YouTube, Twitter,
That is
Google
like
Plus,
the top of the chat.
Fun Express, Fresh Healthy Soda, OWLZzFS is here.
The top of the chat says nothing but quickly 50, quickly 50, quickly 50. It's like, dude, my guy, right? Like Al says, my guy.
My guy, bro.
Thank you so much, man. Really do appreciate it, guys. Spam those salute emojis and for a quick lift, man. That's absolutely freaking amazing and very kind, dude. I really do appreciate it. And I don't even know what the hell I was talking about anymore, but I was talking about something.
YouTubers.
Oh yeah. So we come across, we do kind of like pick on each other. You know, hey, the guy's using a controller, you know, a PS4 controller, Xbox controller. We're the real flight simmers. They're the fake flight simmer. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, right? I was about to drop a half bomb, but it doesn't matter, right? If you enjoy flying with a controller, fly with a controller. If you enjoy flying with some people just can't afford it, right? Some people just don't have the funds to be able to. Maddie, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the family. They don't have the means to be able to buy a yoke, side stick, and all the cool stuff that we are fortunate to have, right? So if all you got is a controller, all you got is a keyboard and mouse, more power to you, man. Have fun with it, right? But yeah, I mean, we do pick on each other about that, but obviously it's not meant in a negative manner, right? That's literally what we see. We're just picking on each other. Mama Mickey, what's going on, Mama? What do you call her?
Mama Mikey. That's Owl's nickname.
Mama Mikey, how you doing?
They're all saying hello.
But yeah, so that's pretty much what I was trying to say. But on the other side of that, we have come across some really, really, really negative crap, right? And I pointed it out on my Discord a few days ago. I didn't say who it was, and I literally told people, if you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know, right? And if you don't know, it's probably for the best. But when you come across content creator that diss on well-known developers, right, and or well-known other content creators on YouTube, and they're making fun of the bigger guy, right? Then you know these particular people are just looking for the clout. They're just looking for the click, right? And how they're looking for that click is by stirring the pot, right? A good word that I like to say. They want to stir the pot, right? I stir the pot on private all the time. I stir the pot with Mikey. I stir the pot with Owls. we all mess with each other. We stir the pot all day long, right? But I don't go making a video on YouTube and tell you how bad MickityyyMike is during a stream, or I don't, those are not the things that we do, right? A lot of times when we stir the pot on each other is to point out something that we might be doing wrong, and maybe try to get that person to understand, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this. We do that with each other, right? Because we are in the same community, right? We are uh since we've been streaming, since you guys have been streaming, we've been together, right? So that's, we're kind of coming up together, right? So at the same time, we want to make sure that we succeed at the same time, right? Make sure that we're doing right. I always point out stuff to alls on private. It's like, hey, dude, this happened on your chat. I don't know. You might want to take a look at that, right? Mr. Yom, thank you for
Johan,
the
$2 Canadian and 79 cents.
Canadian. I
Are you
really do
talking
appreciate it.
about slow time metabolism?
Slow time metabolism, definitely not my thing. Definitely not. I don't know what that is, but yeah, it's not just one person. There's a bunch. So when I kind of want, like I said, I put it on my Discord because I wanted my community, I wanted my people, right, that follow me to know that there's people out there with this type of content, and not to blindly believe everything you see, right, or everything you hear. Um, and that's all I'm going to say about this particular subject. But that's the other side, right? Not just the VATSIM, but that's the other side, the content creators as well. There's a lot of a lot of good content creators out there, and we all know who those people are, right?
Yeah.
There's no sense in our QA, V1. There's no sense in mentioning all of them. We all know who they are, because if you are in this chat, if you're in Al's chat, if you're in Mickey's chat, there's a chance that you've already been in the chat of those people that we're going to talk that we mentioned, right? The good people. King Bob, thank you so much, brother.
King Bob's
$21.
Kingdom,
See what he has
$21.
to say.
I just starting streaming, content creating, and I don't know how you guys do it. Way tougher than you guys make
Are
it
people
look, and
getting
way more
exact
time
donations?
consuming.
I just thought about that.
Split this
21.
3 ways
How
with
do you
Owls and
donate
Mickety.
21?
It
Might
might
have been a
be.
typo.
It might have been an exchange rate too. Sometimes that happens.
Oh,
but,
no, you
Yeah.
can customize it. No, you can customize it. I know you can
Can
do
you?
that. Okay.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah.
Thank you so much, King Bob. Absolutely appreciate it. That's extremely kind of you, brother. Thank you. And yes,
Shadow says that.
we can touch on that as well for King's Bob. We can talk about. Oh my goodness gracious, dude.
Medic 24 Life $4.99.
Dude, you're
That was
getting
smacked.
Won't let me
spammed.
become a member, so it's the best I can do.
W's.
He said he won't let me become a member, so that's the best I can do. Manny, thank you so much, brother. Really do appreciate it. Guys, spam those salutes for both King Bob and Medic in the chat. I really do appreciate it, guys. You are way too kind today. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, quick, Cliff. Your donation's moving back in the line. You won't.
Shut up, Owls. I am going to
You
take
won't.
you out of the damn call. But we can talk about what King Bob was referred to as far as how you do it and all the good stuff. And I got my opinions, and I'm sure Mike has got his and Owls has got his. But if you guys don't have anything to add about what we're talking about, as far as, well, I'm pretty sure. No, I haven't even given you the mic yet about the YouTuber thing, right? The
Nah.
negative side of content creation, right? Let's. I'm gonna step away from. I can still hear you guys. I'm gonna step away. I'm gonna leave you guys to take care of business.
Sure.
But give me like 2 minutes and I'll be right back. I can still hear you guys, but I'm gonna take my camera off, and I'm gonna give you the mic about the YouTuber thing.
Well, I mean, for me, when it comes to
Medic 24
Thank you,
Life
Meg, for the $10 bomb. Yeah, go ahead and
Crying
get
out
that
loud,
donation off
Click
the
off
screen.
the screen.
Crying out loud. Oh my god, dude.
I don't know, Quick Cliff. I'm not seeing your donations at the top anymore. Tyler coming in with another $5 bomb. Thank you so much for the $5 bomb. Everyone sending super chats. Appreciate you, my guy. Thank you for supporting the live stream. Again, if you guys want to support the live stream for free, make sure you guys smash the like button. We're looking good. We don't even have a like goal today. If you guys are looking to help out for free, smash the like button, dude. I really do appreciate everybody stopping in today. Anyways, all right, good.
Anyway, when it comes to the content creators, and I'll touch on King Bob's subject here, we'll kind of segue into that. When it comes to the content creators that are here for the wrong reasons, I had a very strong opinion on this just a few days ago when I came across this content and was watching it and this, that, the third, and you know, it's just astonishing to me. It's astonishing to me that there are people out there, and this is where my opinion on entitlement comes into, right? These people are entitled enough to come onto a major platform like this and, you know, for lack of a better term, shit on one of the best developers that our community has at the moment. You know, it's just when it comes down to it, it's just, you know, at first I was giving this guy the attention and, you know, commenting and this, that, the third, and trying to tell him how wrong he is and la da da. But at the end of the day, you know, this guy's going to do what he's going to do. He's going to say what he's going to say, and he's just going to be that negative Nancy that everybody's just going to, you know, he feeds off of it. He feeds off the negativity, right? And there are many, many more out there than just this one person that's being referenced right now. And obviously, we're not going to name drop or anything like that. If you know, you know. If you don't, sorry. Yeah, Turbo, perfect. Keyboard warriors, right? You know, in my personal opinion, you know, there's just no room for that in this community. There's enough toxicity in the flight sim community as it is, right? What we don't need is people coming onto a platform and talking about their personal preferences and thinking they're the best of the best because they've got so many subscribers and this, that, the third, and la da 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 da. And it's just at the end of the day, it's like no one is going to give a damn about your opinion when it comes to you. Might have a few people that think you're just the best of the best, but that's going to be a small margin compared to the vast majority of us who are serious about flight simming, right? So when it comes, there's just no room for it. There's no room for it. This type of negative attention and negative, you know, outspoken opinions about something that you really aren't too educated on, right? In my opinion, if you're going to form an argument, it needs to be credible. And with credibility comes proof, and with proof comes evidence, and with evidence comes research, right? So you need to be able to do your research. You need to come up with some proof and evidence that this is not a good development team or a good airplane or this, that, the third. And you need to provide that to the community if you're going to come on and spew this BS, right? You know, there has to be credibility to your argument, or you're just looking. I mean, at the end of the day, you're just going to be looking for the clicks and the negative comments, and you're going to sit there and feed and, you know, bench press a little bit maybe and feed off of the negativity, right? But you know, as a content creator, and I'll touch to King Bob. Let me go back up to his comment. He said, I just started streaming / content creating, and I don't know how you guys do it. Way tougher than you guys make it look, and way more time consuming. Well, King Bob, to be honest with you, content creation is very much so a dedication. You have to be dedicated to it if it's something that you plan on doing, right? And you know, there are people that get into content creation for the wrong reasons. You know, there are people that get into content creation because they think in some due time they're going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars doing what they're doing, right? Because you do have the successful YouTubers that aren't even flight simmers, the successful YouTubers that have millions of subscribers that do this as a full-time job and get paid a ton of money to do it. You get in, if you come into content creating with that expectation, you're setting yourself up for failure. It's a grind. You know, you have to be able to, I mean, ask Owls how long it takes them to put a thumbnail together, right? It's a grind. It's work, you know, at the end of the day. And when I say work, I use that term very lightly because I don't come home thinking that my content creation or my YouTube channel is a job to me. It's not, but I'm working to make sure that this is something that could potentially become successful. Now, I always say if that door opens, then I'll walk through the door. If it doesn't, I just do this because I enjoy it, right? So make sure first you're in content creation and doing YouTube and live streaming and stuff like that. A, because you enjoy it. It's what you enjoy to do. You're having fun. You want to talk with people that have the same passions you do. That's exactly why I do it. And B, just be dedicated to it. You know, there is a dedication that comes to content creating. So when it comes to, you know, branding your channel and creating your YouTube channel and, you know, coming up with thumbnail ideas and ways to entertain your chat when chat becomes a thing, because it's not all going to come to you immediately. You know, it takes time to get there, right? And I've only been doing it a year. I'm just shy of 1,300 subscribers. I'm not even a big YouTuber. You know, I'm just, you know, my name is kind of known around the flight sim community now because of YouTube. But at the end of the day, you know, it's not something that I would deem massive because it's not, right? So just keep those things in mind, man. You gotta just make sure that if this is something that you are passionate about, that you dedicate the time to do it, right? And it is time consuming. It is difficult. You know, there are days where you're looking at the algorithm, you're just like, man, what is going on? Like, what am I doing wrong? What can I change to make this better? This, that, the third. But the minute you start doing that, you're gonna have that little guy in the back of your head telling you your stuff's not good, right? Because that was happening to me about 6 months in. It's like, you're not good. There are other people that are doing better than you. You're not going to be able to make it. This, that, the third, la da da. You just have to keep going. You have to get through that kind of that negativity. So
You can
what's more
always
important,
look.
the thumbnail or the root?
You can always look at the more successful guy and be like, okay, this is the type of content creator I want to be, right? And kind of emulate. But at the end of the day, I think you need to build your own style. You need to build your own brand. You need to be your own person, right? You can't get on YouTube and try to be somebody you're not.
Right.
So that's an important thing. The other piece
Authenticity.
is authenticity, right?
Authenticity is big.
Who you are is who you are. You all know that I am this elder flight simmer that has a foul mouth because I'm a sailor, right, by trade, and it's gonna happen, right? So you all know who I am. You all know that I play around a lot, and but at the end of the day, those people that stick with me, the people that know me best, the people that like me for who I am, know who I am, right, and accept me the way I am. So the main piece I will give to new people on YouTube coming up. Fuck.
Stole. Oh man.
Comment, the comment, my wife is going
My
to kill
wife
me.
is going to kill me.
I feel
Lol.
that, bro. I feel that.
Your wife is going to kill
$200
you.
bomb.
I give your wife permission to kill you, dude. Take the card away. Do something. Like,
Take the
go
card
watch
away.
somebody else, bro. What are you doing?
Call the bank, man.
Hold
Cancel
the
the
bank.
card, bro.
Cancel the card. What the hell is going on? My dude, please spam those salute emojis in the chat for quick lift. That's 200 bones dropped in like less than 10 minutes, dude. You are absolute. Okay, you're not kind anymore. You are clinically insane, my dude. Thank you so
Clinically
much.
insane.
Really do appreciate it, man. Again, not necessary, but very much appreciate it. Very much appreciated support, man. Um, he does that all the time to me, dude. I don't know what the hell I was saying. The brand, right? You need to build your own logo, your own brand. You need to be your own person, right? There's a lot of people out there that try to be somebody
Guys
they're not.
making white money.
They try to be somebody they're not. They try to emulate somebody else, right? You know, there's people that are probably spamming Al's DMs and they're like, "Oh, how do I do it like you do?" Don't do that, right? Be your own person. Do your own thing. Don't try to be Al's. Don't try to be Mike. Don't try to be Captain Canada. Don't try to be somebody you're not. Do your own thing. And if you are entertaining, if you have it, people will follow, right? People will come watch you and all that good stuff. It's not even about the games you play, right? There's people that play Roblox that have millions of damn views, right? Am I gonna watch Roblox? No, that's not for me. But there's people out there. Thank you so. You guys do it on purpose. You only do it when I'm talking, right?
You
You
gotta
gotta
get
get
dreads.
dreads.
I gotta get dreads. Well, if you get dreads, it is proven that your YouTube channel will be successful. We know that because of Al's, right? So, unfortunately, not only I can't get dreads, I can't even get hair. So that's part of the issue I got. Maybe I'll get some of that 200 bones and get an implant or something. We'll see. Yeah, put that to a good cause. But going back to that, you got to be your own person, man. And most
I'm
of
sorry,
all,
I'm just thinking of CST with a comb over right now, man.
I don't have a comment. I actually shave.
Yoham, $2
the little
Canadian
bit,
dollars and
the little bit that I
79
got
cents.
left. Let me tell you
Mamba,
something
here's
about.
my 29
Let's
cents.
sidestep here for a second, man. About old age. I lost obviously hair on my head, but it's starting to show up in places that you never had hair before, like my ears and other places. So yeah, you can laugh all you want in chat, and you too, Als, but it's gonna happen to you, man. You're gonna be 46 one day. And you're gonna have hair coming out of your ears, dude. So, or your nose, your nose hair connects with your beard, and
Oh gosh.
yeah,
That sounds
it's
great.
great. It's amazing, dude.
Sounds fantastic.
You should definitely prepare for that. Maybe get some wax or something. But
All right, I got you.
and if it's set to the side. Anyways, going back to that, the other real, the other, if you're just now starting out with YouTube, and again, I'm saying all this not considering myself a big YouTuber, but however, I'll tell you the reason why I think people should start streaming. Uh, do it for fun, right? The reason why I did it is because of this, because I wanted to surround myself with good people and a good community and people around me in my Discord. We are on my Discord like almost every night, just raising hell, dude. And I enjoy that. There's people that don't like that. Oh, these people are loud. I enjoy that. I love it. I love and a lot of times I just sit there and I'm quiet. I just let you guys go at it, right? And I'm just having fun. I'm just laughing in the background, right? Um, that's what it's about. And we don't just do flight sim. We play other games. There's a lot of racing going on. There's people uh, playing ATS. There's people doing other stuff, right? So that's what I want, right? That's what I intended to do when I started streaming, right? I'm gonna share my hobby with other people. I'm gonna try and build myself a community around me that I can go to get away, right? Get away from real life, get away from issues, get away from all that, right? Because I was working at the time too. I was still active duty, so I needed something to get away to, right? Come back home from work. Let me go vent. Let me go recage. Let me go relax, right? With my community and play some games and have some fun and talk about whatever we want to talk about, right? So that's the reason I started doing it. The fan aspect. The minute you start doing it, because and this has been my experience, because I started streaming, uploading content more than streaming a long, long, long time ago, and I started doing it for the wrong reasons, and it very quickly became a job to me, and as soon as it became a job, uh, it, I didn't want to do it anymore. It was like, you get home from work and now you got another job. That's not what you want to do. It's not going to excite you to go home and be like, oh, I got to do this. I have to do this now, right? Because people are expecting me to upload, people are expecting me to stream, so I have to do it. If you're lucky enough to have the time and have a schedule and commit to that schedule and do all that, then great. But if you're the type of person like V1, for example, that is a full-time
King
job.
Bob's Kingdom $21.
Jesus
Bingo.
Christ,
Do
dude.
it for fun. And can we get rid of the my landing rate is bigger? Air. Better than yours.
King Bob, thank you so much, guys. Make sure you spam those little emojis for King Bob. Appreciate you. Exactly. Yes, do it for fun. That's the main piece, right? Do it for the fun. Do it for the interaction with other flight simmer, other ATS drivers, whatever it is the game you're playing, other Roblox players, right? Whatever, right? Because it doesn't have to be flight sim. It could be something else. It's whatever you enjoy doing, right? In this particular panel, we enjoy flight sim more than anything else. So flight sim is going to be the main subject, obviously, right? But we do other stuff, right? Um, but yeah, so that's my piece. As far as the thumbnails is concerned, there's two type of people with the thumbnails, right? Because somebody was asking, Mikey, I think you was trying to read it. Somebody was asking, is the thumbnail really that important? It depends. It really depends. If you are the type of person that strives for perfection and you're OCD about your thumbnails like Hal's, then yes, it's very important to you, right? That's one person. The other person that spends a lot of time on his thumbnail, and that's not Hal's, I know that for a fact, is the person that is looking to capture your attention as soon as you see the thumbnail, right? That's called a clickbaiter, right? He's trying to get you to click on his content because of the thumbnail, right? And then his content might be good, might be bad. It is what it is at the point, right? But the fact they spend so much time on a thumbnail that has flashy stuff on it, or the best the best thing you're ever gonna see on YouTube. You're like, oh wow, this is the best thing I'm ever gonna see on YouTube. Let me click on that. What is this about? Right? That's called a clickbaiter, right? So to them, having the right type of thumbnail that is gonna drive traffic is the most important thing. The fact that you see a thumbnail, for example, with the person that says Inibills, the worst developers in flight simulation. You're like, well, wait a minute. I thought Inibills was good. What is this guy talking about? Click, right? He just got you to click because you know better, right? You know Inibills is a good developer. You know Inibills is the top developer in flight sim community. So whenever you see a video that says Inibills, is a subpar developer team, and this is why you're gonna want to know what this guy has to say, right? And he got you hook and sinker. He got you, bro. He got you to click. He got you to go look his video. He got all of it, dude. He got the money. He got paid, right? That's why people do thumbnails the way they do. Obviously, again, going back to Al's, we all know that's not why he does it. We know that he's a little bit maybe OCD about his thumbnails, and he strives for perfection. And that's part of his success is he's a perfectionist, right? He wants to make sure that everything right. That's why the other day he was streaming, the plane wasn't working, GSX wasn't working. You could see it in his face. He wasn't having a good time, right? And he
Oh,
kept saying,
yeah,
"I'm
yeah.
sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Dude, I went on the chat. I'm like, "Dude, stop saying I'm sorry. This is great. Let's go." Right? And he was like, "Oh, okay, okay, fantastic, fantastic." Right? And then it got better, right? But he, but if you just let him go down that hole, right? Because we all had that days, Mikey. I used to call it the Mikey syndrome, right? When he was having issues with his sim, right? And when
bruh.
something happened to me, I used to be like, "Oh damn! Look, my damn computer, my sim is catching the Mikey syndrome because Mikey it was a long time he was having an issue with his sim, right? So whenever that happens, right, and you're a content creator, you want to provide good content to your viewers. Whenever that happens, it shuts you down from the inside, right? You almost want to turn the PC off, throw the monitor out the window,
It's like
and
someone
get
inserts a
just
rib
right.
cracker. It
So
just rips your heart out, bro.
so
It's demoralizing.
that's why it is, and you see that, you know, the viewers that really care about you, they'll go in there and be like, "Dude, it's all good, man. Let's go. This is good. Don't worry about GSX. It's whatever, right? Let's go flying, right? I'm not here for GSX. I'm not here for the Broward airspace. I'm here to have fun with you. Let's go, man. Let's do this, right? So so that's kind of like how that went, right? With Owls, it's like, okay, you know, that went away. He forgot about that, and it's all good. And that was thanks actually to a lot of people in chat. Like, it's all good, bro. Let's go. Let's do this. Yeah, don't kill yourself about it, right? But it does. What the hell? I got a butterfly in the house. But yeah.
I see it. I saw it.
So let's take the young guy take on the whole you know, starting YouTube, starting to stream thumbnails, try to create good content and all that good stuff. What do you say there, Mr. OWLZzFS?
But yeah, I would say I keep it plain and simple, but we all know that's a freaking lie. But I mean, look at my first ever live stream. If you guys go back at my first live stream,
Don't ever go back and look at people's first live stream. I'm actually going to take them down tonight. I will be taking down those streams tonight, guys. They're going down.
But it was a very, I wouldn't even say young because I think I'm still young, but it was like almost 2 years ago probably, of me with the very quiet mic, extremely loud mic, and it was a quiet game, no, a loud game and a quiet mic. You could barely hear me, and I was, hey, we're flying.
I was about to say the voice difference is insane. I'm not gonna lie, the difference in voice is crazy.
We're flying. We're taking off. I didn't know what I didn't know what to say. I was scared of being on camera. I didn't know how to fly the plane, and I was just doing it, right? So when I think you start YouTube, nobody's gonna come in YouTube and be XP72, you know, just ripping, running, getting all the. It's not gonna work like that. But if you guys see at my progression, I think I have like probably honestly CST2 and Mike. I think actually all of us do. Our progression is very visible. You could really see. It's like I start off with I basically no thumbnail, any template or nothing. I started getting a template. I'm like, all right, we'll do it this way.
Channel.
But I started getting a template.
Let's talk about FLIGHTBEAM channel.
And then I slowly start, you know, understanding how to read chat, and I understood how to, you know, interact with people on streams. And then the biggest, I think, drawback that I had was when I turned on the face cam. The second I turned on that face cam, I think I instantly lost everything. And then I had to slowly get used to, you know, wow, people are looking at me. Oh, I got 10 people looking at me now. Oh, I got 20 people looking at me. You kind of got to get used to that. And then around that time, when you start getting people coming in, that's where I start getting like a branding for myself. So I started, you know, seeing, how do I make a logo? Let me try doing this. Let me make a banner. And I think that's the time I started getting really OCD with my thumbnails. As I was like, all right, see, now I got to make these thumbnails look good too. And then from there, it's just, I think the best thing to do when making a channel is you do a live stream. You don't got to watch your whole live stream, but just do a live stream. And then when you're done, go back and be like, all right, I did this, I did that. I could have done this better.
Improve?
Yeah, like I could have done this. Hey, I was talking here and my mic's super loud. Let me turn it down next time. Something like that. And I know Zimp said the thing with his 1050. What do we think about him streaming with his 1050? I don't think it really matters. I don't want to say quality of your stream doesn't matter, because it definitely does. If like I know most of you guys have seen Zimp stream. They're not the smoothest to say the least. But I would say in a content standpoint, I've told him multiple times, I would wait until he has something at least a little bit more smoother. Because again, it is a live stream. You are watching a game. Or
I'll tell you why in Zemp case, and I don't want to downplay Zemp. Okay, Zemp,
Yeah.
I've always been the one that protects Zemp, and you guys know this. Whenever Zemp is in the Discord and people are like, "Oh, Zemp this and Zemp that," dude, leave Zemp alone. All right, he's a kid. He's trying to learn. He's trying to do his thing. Leave Zemp alone. And at the same time, I might say some stuff to Zemp when he pops in chat and talks about, oh, my landings, and I'm like, dude, have you seen your landings? Why are you talking about my landings, my guy, right? So yeah, but and a lot of people might think that's like, oh, that's the negative part of the community. Well, I'm not doing that to anybody. I'm not doing that to people that I don't know, right? I'm not going over to a person that I just met the other day and be like, hey, your lending sucks, right? I'm doing that to people like you, Owls, Mike, Zamp, right? This is people that have been in the community for a while, right? The thing that I would tell Zemp is, you get the views that you get because people want to see what is Zemp going to do next, right? That's the beauty of your channel. It's like, oh my god, dude, look at what he did, right? Look at this landing in peril. He ended up in the buildings. Look at this land, right? So Zemp, again, dude, it might not be your fault. It might be your computer. It might be because your computer can't handle it. But it is a slideshow, and um, but 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 what matters is that Zemp is having fun and he's doing his thing, right? Zemp is gonna be a teenager. He's gonna be 20 years old one of these days, and he's gonna have a great computer, and he's gonna be passionate about flight simming just like we are now, right? That's what I'm talking about, right? That's the type of thing that I'm talking about. That maybe last year I was like, this kid is crazy, right? I'm getting rid of him. Now I'm like, well, wait a minute. Let me help this kid out, right? Maybe he can afford a 4090. Obviously, not everybody can. Maybe he's just trying to do the best that he can with what he's got. And I respect that, right? But at the same time, he's gonna hear about it, right? Don't pretend I'm gonna stay quiet in the background and I'll let you know that your
Tyler rocks
landings are horrendous,
$1.99.
right? That
I'm
your
sorry,
stream
Tyler's in the
Please
is
forget
background
me.
saying, "Me, don't forget me,
yeah,
me."
yeah, Tyler, we all know about you, but you haven't streamed in like 20 years, brother. So yeah, once you get your computer out of storage and you buy a house, then maybe we'll talk about you again, Tyler Rex. No, Tyler, we love you, brother, and we can't wait to have you back. You know, we all pop in there and give you a viewership, man. So yeah, everybody gets it, right? And we all same thing with Tyler, right? Tyler gets it too, right? I always tell Tyler, bro, you need to clean that desk. One time he put a picture on the Discord of his setup, and I was like, dude, there's like 2 inches of dust on your desk, my dude. What is going on? Take care of your. That's part of taking care of your stuff, right? If you just let it go, your stuff is gonna stop working. You need to make sure you clean it, dust it off, and all the good stuff. Especially computers, right? And especially when you spend a pretty penny on components for your computer, you want to make sure that the stuff is clean and is working efficiently. But yeah, that's my piece on that. But again, those people, the guys like Zemp and many others, right? Again, they're doing what they what they need to be doing with what they got, right? Um, would I suggest a stream? Probably not. But if that's what they want to do, who am I to tell them not to do it? You understand what I'm saying? Um,
Where do we go
Major Mark,
from
thank you so
here?
much for the
Major
20
Mark
bucks.
$20.
And
Where do we
earlier,
go from here?
where do we go from here? That's it. And earlier we had a membership as well that I didn't recognize because we were talking. I didn't want to interrupt you guys. I think it was Medic that yeah, Medic became a first class member. Thank you so much. And Major Mark, thank you so much for the $20. That's extremely kind of you, man. So yeah, again, am I gonna sit here and tell him, "Oh, you to stop streaming"? No, I'm not. Who am I to say that, right? I'm not gonna tell that to nobody. Am I here gonna tell you maybe you should not stream? Maybe wait until you can get a better PC, and have a better, smoother experience, and maybe you can draw in some more viewership, right? Because your stream is nice and smooth and all that good stuff, right? So I will tell you that. I will give you that part, right? I will tell you, hey, maybe this is what you should do. But at the end of the day, if you still do what you do, I'm not going to tell you to stop. I'm not going to tell you, hey, you can't do it, right? I'm not the YouTube police. I'm not the streamer police. You do what you want, right? At one point, we were all there, right? Again, you go look at
I
older
have a
streams,
great
right?
story to tell on that.
Yeah, you look at older streams, you look at my older stuff. I was a noob, right? The camera was maybe not set up right, whatever. I always try. I started doing it when I was a little bit older, so I always try to get that level of professionalism, I guess, if you want to put it that way. But I still had subparts. You know, my microphone was not a good mic. You know, so on and so forth, right? So as you get more into the YouTube thing, right? You're gonna see other people like, oh, you know, that's a good microphone. Let me see what he's got. Initially, you probably don't want to spend $300 on a microphone, right? It's like, I'm not spending $300 on them. Jesus H Christ.
Medic 24 Life $9.99.
I'm plotting.
OWLLZ, this is the beginning of your intervention.
Medic 24 life with a $10 bomb. OWLZzFS, your intervention. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for donating to the channel. I do appreciate that, donation, man. Welcome. Again,
Thank
if you
you
guys
guys
wanted
so much,
to
man.
support
That's
him, make sure you guys spam those emojis, give them those membership emojis if you guys have them, or just give them anything you got. Again, if you guys are looking to support the stream for free, make sure you guys hit that like button. We do appreciate you guys all stopping it.
And have a fantastic evening.
Have a fantastic. Well, no, we're not done yet. You can't say that.
No, continue
only
to have
people
a
are leaving.
fantastic evening.
Yeah, continue to have a fantastic. There you go.
Guys, thank you so much. That's very kind of you, man.
See, and I'm gonna preface here, right?
Go for it.
Even just this stream alone, right? Just sitting here talking, you know, a few guys that have come together through flight simming and the set. The stream is just kind of a testament to the community that's been built, right? And although we all do this, we don't. I personally don't do it for monetary value. I know CST for a fact doesn't do it for monetary value. Owls does it because he's having fun with it, man. It's just a bonus the fact that he's growing it. When I joined Owl's channel, he was at 4,000 subscribers. That was a year ago. He's at 25K within a year of me joining that channel. It's absolutely insane, man. So this is just a testament to I will always stand on the hill and I will die on this hill that the flight simulation community is more positive than it is now. Right, because we have people like Major Mark, Medic, King Bob, Quick Lift, and personally from my chat, Brendan Beery, your Sim CFI with the memberships and teachings and this, that, the third. There's so many good people within this community that even though we might not expect the donations and the memberships and this, that, the third, people are doing it because they enjoy the content, right? You know, so. You know, it's a testament to why we do this, you know, and it's, again, it says it in my description, it says it in CST's description, Owl's description. None of this is expected, but it's truly appreciated. So we do appreciate each and every single one of you guys, because everybody that's in this chat are people that are from my chat, from Owl's chat, from CST's, and so many other plethora of content creators within the flight sim community. So you guys are awesome. Smash down a thumbs up button for CST, because this has been phenomenal conversations, you know. I don't know if we have a like goal today, but we're at over, 40, 45 plus likes right now.
I'm
45 right now.
Appreciate that.
This big forehead kid, bro.
Yeah, I liked that comment on the stream. I think it's a very cool comment. But yeah. Thanks for that, y'all. Guys, thank you all for the likes and the donation. I usually don't do like goals. It is what it is, right? The likes I get is whatever I get. I know that you guys like to do like goals, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I just say smash them, right? Obviously, I haven't been saying that this whole time because this is a different type of stream. But hey, it always helps, right? But I do appreciate all you guys in chat, man. That's awesome. We do have some people in the waiting room, but I think Al said he wanted to say something. And we had another question about all of us for the setups. I do have videos of my
So I
setup,
just turn my camera shooter.
and there's also a channel on my Discord that says Sim Setups, and there's pictures of my setups in there as well. But yeah, there's videos as well. There's videos of I even have a short of the setup as well, if you guys want to take a look at that. But Al's just got done showing it to you guys, and there's MickityyyMike setup right there. You're looking at it. It doesn't have to be nothing fancy, right, guys? I know that I am fortunate enough to have, you know, the next level sim chair and yokes and side sticks and tillers and you name it, right? But there's some people that just can't, right? They can't afford all that stuff, right? So it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't need to be expensive. You can start with just a side stick and a throttle. You can start with a controller. You can start with keyboard and mouse, man. But the main thing, I think, as far as flight simulation is just get started, dude. And I'm not saying get started streaming. I'm talking about flight simulation in general. You know, aside from the streaming part, if you want to enjoy flight simulation, enjoy the way you can and the way you know how, right? It doesn't have to be on VATSIM. It doesn't have to be on a stream. But if all you can afford is a side stick or a second-hand side stick. There's a lot of stuff on Facebook Market and all that good stuff that you can pick up on the cheap, man. And that's how all of us started. That's how I started, right? I started with the old school Logitech yokes and throttles. I I didn't have rudder pedals for a long time, right? Rudder pedals didn't come into my flight sim experience until probably about
Same here.
2 years
Same here.
yeah, 2 years after I was flying, and I was used.
Medic
Jesus.
24 Life $4.99. I started with an Xbox
Fantastic.
controller and worked
All right,
my
Al's,
way
you're
up
up again.
to a full setup.
But yeah, I'm gonna shut up because it seems to be that every time I talk, they donate. So, Alice, what you got?
Well, y'all just saying like what you guys started off with. I mean, when I wasn't streaming, I've told the story before on my channel. When anybody doesn't know, I used to have one of those Best Buy CyberPower gaming PCs that were like $500, right? So what I did, I thought I was an educated person, did my research by searching Ryzen 3 3100 5070 or RX 570 Fortnite, and I just looked at the frame rate it gave me, and that's when I bought that computer. And then eventually I moved into getting flight sim, and I had that same computer on X-Plane 11. And when I tell you, I forgot the controller's name in Atlanta, but it was again like I said when I started off with VATSIM. Every single time I would spawn in Atlanta with the scenery, I would take off, the game would crash. I would go back to the gate, take off, the game would crash. I would do like 3 times before the tower would be like, haven't you been here already like 3 times? But yeah, that just goes to say we all started somewhere. I started without even being able to leave an airport.
Yeah, I used to play on my mom's pink Dell laptop on Flight Simulator 2000
That's
for
it.
Flight Simulator X.
That's it. Like I said, we all started somewhere, man. I didn't start flight simming with a 4090 and next level chairs and all this good stuff. So don't just pretend if you don't have this stuff you can't fly. We do have some people that have been waiting for a while.
Did you get Tony? He changed his profile picture. I think he's getting ready.
Tony, yeah. Well, it's Tony and Redneck, so definitely Tony.
Redneck coming here. All right, guys, let's talk about X-Plane. What do you guys think about it?
X-Plane is superior.
Tony,
Start chanting.
Let's bring up Tony. You guys good for Tony?
Yeah, floaty Tony.
Tony, welcome to the 101. You got the mic, man. What you got, brother?
What is up? How are you guys doing?
What up, buddy?
Fantastic evening, my guy.
Fantastic.
Perfect. I want to touch base and say X-Plane is in fact superior.
Okay,
Get him out.
Okay, that's enough on that. Band.
Oh my god.
Sorry about that. I had to.
You good? You
But
good?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm also a smaller content creator myself. I'm both on the Floaty Tony channel and on the 0910 Zulu channel. I want to say it's been a rocky start as well. From like small, I started off actually being a Roblox content creator on the game Cabin Crew Simulator back in 2019, the OG game. Many of you guys, if you know me from then, oh my god, that game has come a while. But yeah, man, it's a wild ride getting up your sub count and getting your views, building your community, all of that. You start somewhere, you build it, and you find your community, and that's what is great. And once you engage enough with your community, that's when, they want to come back and they want to spend their time with you. And you have to understand that too if you're also a smaller content creator. Because I know myself, I'm not getting a lot of new viewers, but I'm getting a lot of returning viewers. And that's what I like. And it's a lot of the passionate people about not just your channel, but about the content that you produce that makes them want to come back to your channel and want to watch you instead of, maybe Captain Canada for some reason, right? It's your content that they want to watch, and you got to remember, you're not trying to set yourself up to be someone else who you aren't, right?
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you, man. I'm laughing at Shadow Dark. He said, "Hi
Yeah,
guys, long time listener, first time caller."
First time caller. That was good.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Just like Tony was probably referring to the same thing we were talking about. Hey, start your thing. Don't worry about viewership. Don't do it for the fun. Do it. Play whatever it is that you like to play. Right. At the end of the day, you gotta have fun with it. Right. So, going back to the viewership and all this stuff, you know how many times I've streamed with in the past with 0 people in chat, and I'm just there looking like a fool, talking to myself in the camera, like, okay, guys, this is what we're doing. We're gonna go ahead and flip the switch, and we're gonna do this and that and the other. It's gonna happen, right? If you start, right, if you let that put you down, you're just not gonna build that viewership. You just gotta keep on going. There's gonna be times you're gonna stream to nobody. It's just nobody's gonna be in chat. That's how you start, right? Nobody's gonna know you. Nobody's gonna know who you are. Nobody's gonna know what you're about, right? You're not gonna get that viewership in the chat right away. It might be a week, it might be a month, it might be a year, right? It depends on you, right? So consistency. The only thing is just keep on doing it, man, and do it for the right reason, right? Don't stop counting your likes. Obviously we all do it, right? We all, hey, smash that like, it helps. Obviously, keep saying it, keep doing it. Hey guys, help me out, smash the like and all that good stuff. That's all good. But if you start worrying about that type of stuff, be like, oh crap, I only got 40 today. My goal was 50, right? You just gonna it's not gonna go right, right? You're gonna lose interest. You're gonna think something is not right. You just gotta keep doing what you're doing, man, as far as content creation, all that stuff. And I would suggest that pick the route you want to pick. Do you want to stream? Do you want to record, edit, and upload? Right? Do you want to be, you know, make sure that you know exactly what you want your content to be, right? Uh, don't I know that Mikey, for example, he's trying to take his channel a different way, and he's better known, right? My channel was always that way. It was always designed to be a gaming channel, not a flight simulation channel. That's why the name is CST Gaming, right? It's not CST Flight Simming. So initially, my intentions were to, do the 5M, do the trucking, and that's if you look at the older stuff that I did, that's exactly what I started with, right? Um, but that's even harder. That's, believe it or not, as far as I'm concerned, that's even more complicated than it is to just pick one thing and go with it. Because now what's going to happen is you're going to capture viewership from different groups and different communities, right? So you're going to capture five from here, five from there. Well, those people that like ATS is they're not going to watch you on Flight Sim, right? Those people that like Flight Sim are not going to watch you farming sim, so on and so forth, right? So it's going to be even harder for you to grow when you do that type of stuff. So, um, is it impossible? No, it's definitely not impossible. But it might be a little longer. And at the end of the day, um, you're drawing from different communities. You're drawing from different people that like to see different stuff, right? You might even turn somebody. You might be like, "Oh, this flying sim stuff is pretty cool, man. All I've been doing with my life is ATS, right?" That's what's cool about that type of stuff as well. So, yeah, guys, you guys got anything for Tony?
Seems like
You
he's
know,
doing it right.
just I agree wholeheartedly with CST, and take it from someone who's been doing it, just barely a year. It's my channel is still very very new and very young in its conception state, right? So, um, that's why ultimately, I had, flight simming has been a big part of my life for a very, very long time. Aviation is a passion of mine that will never go away, right? But ultimately, it started becoming repetitive to me. Started becoming like a revolving circle. I was just doing the same thing over and over again. And for me personally, it started to become not boring, but it became a huge shout out to Blue Games, because Blue Games, when I had made a post on my community tab on the YouTube channel that said, would you guys be interested in starting to see other stuff? And he saw that and called me the very next day, and we sat on the phone for about an hour, and he just gave me some of the best advice I had ever received when it comes to content creation. And those that do not know Blue Games is a relatively large YouTuber. He's got just under 70,000 subscribers, and he makes phenomenal videos when it comes to flight simming, truck simming, train simming, so on and so forth. He called me and just gave me the advice. He's like, this is gonna be the expectations that you need to set, right? And you need to understand that there are going to be people from your flight sim streams that are not going to want to watch you play other games, right? There are going to be people that do not enjoy the other stuff like ATS and Assetto Corsa and GTA 5 and so on and so forth, right? But he said it the best to me. He said it the best. He's like, you feel like you're on autopilot right now. And I was like, that is the best acronym I have heard. Because it's like I was logging on, launching OBS, hitting start stream. Hey, good afternoon, guys. Hope you're all doing well. Appreciate you guys tuning in with me. This is what we're flying today. La da 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 da. And that's just how the stream went. Right now, granted, viewership was there. You know, people were liking the streams. We were talking, having a good time with each other. But it was just for me. I was just on autopilot. You know, he said it the best. You know, it's like I was just doing the same thing over and over again. And if you watch my channel some months ago, there was a period of time where I was doing long hauls once a week, sometimes twice a week. You know, in the air, 6, 7, 8 hours, because that's what people were watching. You know, people were watching it. And I was so concerned about that. I was like, you know, this is what people watch, so I have to do it. And I started doing it. Owls, correct me if I'm wrong, but I did it for like a month and a half straight, where I was just flying long hauls every week, right? And it just got so difficult to keep doing because I was getting so burnt out. I was just like, man, I can't sit at this computer for 7.5 hours. I've got no one talking right now. Owls is live. Everybody's watching him right now. CST is live. They're over at his channel watching him do his thing. And I'm just sitting here at 41,000 feet over the ocean, you know? So I had to kind of come to the realization and saying, okay, you know, like, yes, people enjoy watching this stuff, but I'm starting not to enjoy it, you know? And the minute I stop enjoying something, or I start to stop enjoying something, is the minute that I'm going to start to make a change. Right.
Yeah.
And when I initially made my channel, I never wanted my channel to be just a flight sim channel either. I wanted it to be a variety channel. I wanted to play different games. I wanted to do this, that, the third. But unfortunately, you know, flight simming is just where the channel became to get traction, or began to get traction. And so that's what I continue to do. And now I'm not saying that I don't enjoy it, because I love flight simming. Right. I've met fantastic people doing it, like Owls and CST and Captain Canada and XP72 and Blue Games and so on and so forth. You know, having the opportunities to go down to World Flight for this charity event next month or in November, and a plethora of other things, like, you know, developers coming and wanting to work with me. That's the shit that I never thought I'd do in years, man. But, you know, ultimately, when it comes down to the content creation space, you have to make sure that you're doing what makes you happy, whether people watch you or not. If people are not watching an ATS stream because they don't like ATS, cool, I'm having a good time. You know, I'm enjoying it. So you got to make sure that that stays. That needs to be at the top of your goal, is to just make sure you're having fun with it and enjoying what you're doing. Because the minute you stop doing that, content creation's out the window for you, because it just seems like you're just a bot just sitting on the camera doing what people expect you to do. And you want authenticity. You want people to see you, who you are, right? You know, just last week, I was streaming Assetto Corsa. The first stream I did phenomenal, but the next stream I did, not the best, right? And it's just because it was something new. Some people watched it, and then the next time I did it, was like, well, I watched them do this yesterday. Yeah, well, I'll wait for the flight sim stream, right?
Well, and the piece on that, Mike, is you just got to keep going. Don't stop, because
exactly right.
One time it was good, and the second time it wasn't as good.
Yeah.
Just keep it going. If that's what you enjoy doing, then just keep doing it, man.
Yeah,
people
100%.
will come. You know, the old saying, "You build it, they'll come." Right? That's just the way it is.
100%. And that's exactly what Blue Games told me. He's like, in due time, people will just watch you because it's you, not because of the game you're playing. It's like tomorrow, I'm probably going to stream American Truck Sim, whether people watch it or not. No, I'm addicted to that game right now. I love American Truck Sim, right? You know, and I've been having fun with it, building a company. My company's called 702 Freight. You know, it's the area code of Las Vegas. I'm based in Las Vegas. You know, I'm having fun with it. You know, and
Fun fact is that's how I started my YouTube channel. It was ATS, I believe.
Oh yeah.
One of my first streams was ATS, I think. But yeah. How's what you got, my dude? I'm sorry, were you that, Mike?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, what you got?
Basically the same thing that Mike has said. He took everything from me. It's just, if you're gonna start a channel, you got to figure out where your content's going, like you said. If you're going to be a live streamer, and I wouldn't say just instantly be like, okay, I'm starting the channel, I'm going to be a live streamer. I mean, look at me. I've done shorts, I've done videos, I've done live streams, I've done everything you could possibly do on YouTube. So I'd say, to go around, experiment what you like, and see what, you know, obviously what you're liking to do, and also what's also picking up some traction that you obviously will probably like too. And then keep at it. Like I said, especially what Mike said, it still happens to me to this day. There's some streams I'll get that have, especially I notice it when like new planes release. Like you'll get the 777 release, and I got 115 people in my chat average, and everybody's talking and all that. And then I'll do another live, and I'll have, you know, 50 people. It's not bad, but there's a drop, and you don't want to get, you know, too on yourself about that. Just keep having fun no matter how many people are hanging out and chatting and all that.
Right. Somebody says tall and short don't count. Let's not talk about
That's all
that.
right.
Okay.
Let it be
That's-
Yoham.
hey, that was like
Let it be.
11 months
Yoham,
ago,
let
man.
it be.
I'm saying
Let it go.
nothing. You're not
Let it go,
saying
Yoham. Let it go. Don't worry about that. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, and I
yeah.
agree, man. It's just a matter of making sure that you continue to enjoy what you want to enjoy, and eventually the people will come to your chat and say, "Hey, man, this guy's just having fun with it. I'm gonna sit here and have fun with it too." And you might actually have people branch out into something they've never done before, right? You know, there might be people that come into my ATS stream tomorrow night and say, "Man, what is this game? I've never heard of this before. This is fucking awesome." Excuse my language, right?
Yes, sir.
But you know, it's just a matter of being you. Authenticity is massive in content creation, and the minute you start becoming in that autopilot mode, the content is just gonna dwindle. It's gonna go into this revolving circle of where you've got your regular viewers that come in and say what's up, but really nothing new is happening. Right?
We need to bring up Redneck. It's been waiting for a long
that's
time.
Fine. That's
Tony,
fine. That's fine.
thank you so much for being a long time listener and first time caller. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, thanks, brother. You got
Oh yeah.
you still there? Oh, there you go.
I'll see you guys around for sure.
All right, Tony. Thanks again, man.
See you.
All right. We know we're about to talk about X-Plane, right, guys?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, let's get the notepad ready, bro.
Mr.
Caller on the air.
Redneck, what is
Oh
going on, my
my
dude?
Goodness.
Oh my God!
I
no.
cannot
Disconnect.
believe that
Disconnect.
Get him out of
I
here.
promise I won't talk about X-Plane, maybe.
Mr.
Hopefully.
Redneck, you on the air? What you got?
I don't even know. What topic should I? You
Hey man,
talked
hey,
over
I
so
know.
many topics.
Listen. I know that you've been in there for a while waiting, so you might want to just whatever we talked about so far. If you had something to say about it, go ahead and bring it up. What you got?
All right, I'll circle it back to like the first topic about VATSIM, and the main point that I had was VAT USA compared to what like the overall government of VATSIM is doing. VAT USA is a lot more regulated. I know the head of VAT USA, Brandon Wenning, he does awesome stuff. That what they're doing is much more regulated and controlled than what the overall staff of VATSIM is doing in terms of like especially in terms of controlling in VAT USA. It's a lot more stringent than it is in other countries such as VATCAR and VAT EU, from what I know. And it's a lot like so you can take the VATSIM S1 controller test whenever you want, once you have a CID. But once you get into an RTAC, all RTACs are required to actually take you through and make sure that that test was not like illegitimately completed, to make sure you know what you're doing, and to make sure that you like they'll talk you through the questions, they'll ask you some stuff, make sure that you know what you're doing instead of just kind of letting you free will what you want as a ground controller. And I think in terms of or just overall VATSIM's regulation, they should update that starter test that they have. Those questions need to be updated to like FAA and EASA standards because they're ancient and probably haven't been updated in 10-15 years, I would say.
It's probably less than 15 years because, like I said, when I joined it, it wasn't a thing. I didn't have to take a test, but yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, that's all stuff that's been talked about. Yeah, I agree about it. I agree with all of it, to be honest. Any guys?
Yeah, I agree. I know. In my personal opinion, I think VAT USA is probably the division of VATSIM that is setting the example for how things need to be regulated and operated on. That's just my personal opinion. Now, granted, I've been into other airspaces where the controllers just do not mess around. It's either you do what they ask or log off. So it's like flying in Germany. That's another beast, bro. It's an entire new beast. So I wouldn't necessarily say that one section of VATSIM is better than the other, because at the end of the day, I've met bad controllers in every VATSIM area within the flight sim world, but I run into bad pilots everywhere, right? So it's I definitely believe USA is setting the standard for it, 100%. But I do believe that that standard is replicated around the quote unquote VATSIM world, if you would. Um, I do agree with the fact that stuff needs to be updated. There needs to be a little bit more of a there needs to be more of a challenge to becoming a VATSIM user. Now, when I say challenge, I use that term lightly because I don't want it to be extremely challenging for someone to join on a free network that is a volunteer network. But I do believe that there needs to be some knowledge based stuff that needs to go into becoming a VATSIM user before you have the ability to actually connect to your first session and join in and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
you know
Real quick, man. Quick lift looks like quick lift. Thank you so much, dude, for your generosity and kindness, man. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a great night, man. And thank you for stopping by today. And thank you. What was it? What was it like $4,000 that he donated tonight, guys? I
About
lost count.
4.6K.
Something like that.
Four
It was
point
like
six k. Quick lift. Thank you so much,
4.6K.
brother. Yeah. Um, I think we should touch within the community, right? I think since we got redneck in there, I think we should touch on the all good argument of real quick Microsoft Flight Sim and Explain 12. I will tell you this that I fly both, right? Everybody knows one more than the other, right? And if I will tell you this as well that if Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 ends up being what Flight Simulator 2024 is supposed to be, um, I would I won't say never, but I will probably uninstall Explain 12 indefinitely. But that's just me, right? A lot of people are like Explain 12 is always going to be the thing because they're loyal to the brand, loyal to whatever, they like the planes more, they like this more. We really can't compare it to 2024, so I wouldn't even try to do that. But let's stick with what we got, right? Let's say 2020 and 12, right? So that's why I said if 2024 is going to be what it's going to be, then that might open up another can, right? But as of right now, we have 2020 and Explain 12, right? One is more play eye candy. It capture your attention a little bit more because it looks really good, and you got the photogrammetry and all that good stuff that everybody loves. It's a good package. You install it, you run it. You don't have to do nothing if you're brand new to the hobby. Literally, it's a one-stop shop, right? You get Flight Simulator 2020 and you install it and everything is there. You got the ortho, you got the photogrammetry, you got the planes. Now, is it going to be a fidelity plane? Absolutely not. They're not, right? uh, where with Explain 12, in my humble opinion, is you get Explain 12, you're going to have some better level aircraft right off the bat. Okay. Are they going to be great? They're not going to be great, but they're going to be better than what you get in the base package with Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, right? They're going to be more functional. They're going to have better flight physics and dynamics and all that good stuff. Everybody knows that. To disagree with that, I think that you probably haven't been in flight simulation for a long while, right? So I know that we play with each other all the time. We're like, this is better than the other, and you explain people, suck, and we do that just because we pick on each other. But when it comes down to it, we all know what the facts are, right? And we all know why me, for example, everybody knows, I've said it before, why I fly Microsoft Flight Simulator, because I enjoy the full package, not just the flight dynamics of whatever, right? The flight model. But whenever I get the hitch for the flight model, whenever I get the hitch for a plane that I don't have a Microsoft Flight Simulator, I am more than happy to go and explain to whoever fly my 757, I fly my 321 Thales, I fly my 340, all those big names and all those great planes that we all know and love. Um, I just wish explaining would do a little better than they have done. That's all. That's all I really say, right? Um, but let's give it to Mike and then House, and then we'll go to Redneck, which is, by the way, for those of you that don't know, I think everybody in chat knows. Redneck is
This kid.
he might as well get paid from Explain and Laminar Research
I
because
should.
that's
Man,
that's what that's what it's
Austin,
about, right? Uh,
Austin
Yeah.
should.
I
I
think
should
I
be.
think actually he's not telling us the truth. I think he's probably getting paid by Explain, right? But
Yeah.
Probably.
let's give it to Mike for let's keep it short. That way we can get
Yeah,
Redneck
I
to
gotcha.
speak. But let's give it to
Yeah.
Mike and then Al's and get their thoughts on Microsoft Vice Explain or vice versa, whatever, and then we'll go to Redneck, which is again Avid Explain 12 user 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, all of them. Let's go.
The whole deal.
So, chat, just so you know, I'm going to preface this to start this conversation. Is I am very much so a firm believer in. I do not care what sim you fly. We're here for the same reason, right? Whether it's X-Plane, Microsoft, P3D, FSX, FS2004, whatever it is, whatever sim you are using to take a virtual airplane into the air and fly, we're here for the same reason, right? We all do the same thing. We enjoy the same passion. That is aviation. We just have different opinions on how we do it, right? For me, when I first started live streaming, guys, you can go back to the beginning of my channel. I was an avid X-Plane 11 user, X-Plane 11 user. And ask Owls, when him and I first met, and he watched one of my first streams, one of his first questions ever to me was, how does your X-Plane 11 look that good, right? And that's because I had spent hours and hours making that sim look good with filters, with photogrammetry, with ortho, with mods, with this, that, the third. What I love about Microsoft is I didn't have to do that. All I had to do was install the scenery in the plane, and I could load into the sim, and the sim is beautiful as it is, right? Is there things to improve on? Absolutely. I will not disagree with that at all. But I was an avid X-Plane 11 user, and I will agree that X-Plane does have the upper hand on Microsoft when it comes to the physics. Now with 2024 around the corner, we're getting promised this very realistic handling simulator where the physics are supposed to be a little bit more similar to how the X-Plane flies and how real world airplanes are supposed to fly in this, that, or third. I don't think any simulator is going to be able to get the real feeling of an airplane ever, personally, unless it's a level D simulator. For someone that's, for a simulator that's just at home use, I don't think it'll ever get to the extent of having the most realistic flight dynamics.
Even when I was doing my type on the 200 and 300 series King Air, the level Ds still are like not
it's
even
night and day.
Yeah, it's
so. For me personally, I am an avid Microsoft user now, but that does not mean that I wouldn't jump into X-Plane here and there. When I was on 11, I had the 7.5s, I had the 7.6s. That Flight Factor 777 looks phenomenal. The 320 family Phi Tolis, I had all of it. Even the jar designs. No one talks about the jar designs, but I had jar design back in the day, right? Yeah, right. Just a separate topic, right? But for me personally, it's not X-Plane versus Microsoft. It's Flight Simmer versus Flight Simmer. It has nothing to do with the sim itself. It has to do with the people that are flying the sim, and their differences in opinions, which is better. I think everyone's entitled to that opinion, but at the end of the day, we're all here to just fly a virtual airplane and enjoy each other's presence and share the same passion of aviation and airplanes. And because I think we're the only guys that can get on a fucking commercial jet and look out the wing and be like, oh, he's extending the flaps, he's going to flaps 15. I know this, right? Oh, the gear's coming down, I can feel the drag.
But we do that all the time. Like when the plane is landing, we go 100, 50, 20,
yeah,
10,
40, 30, exactly.
Butter,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, and you look at the person next to you, is like, little did you know the cockpit just looked at the dude and called him a retard, but you don't really know what that means. But I know what it means, right?
How's what you got?
To keep it plain and simple, unlike Mike, I would say that Microsoft and X-Plane, they're both simulators, right? You're simming, all right? There's no need to argue against one. Now, I started off with X-Plane 11. I later on went to X-Plane 12 when I updated my computer. And I can say that I'll be admitted, like flying the Zebo versus the PMDG, the Zebo feels 1,000 times better, especially taxing. I don't know what it is. Taxing the airplanes when you hit the brakes or you make a turn, usually you can notice when we make fast turns, I'll make like a fast left turn. You can see the plane actually kind of lean over. You'd be like, oh, I got to slow down. So I think X-Plane does definitely have the upper hand in just the feel of the airplanes. But at the end of the day, I like how Microsoft looks. I'll admit it. I just like the eye candy of Microsoft. Therefore, I play Microsoft. I got all my mods. I spent more time on it. I like Microsoft. So that's what I think. Like if you're the same way for X-Plane, you would like X-Plane. That's.
And now, last but not least, thanks a lot for being here, Redneck. We'll talk to you next time, all right?
Okay. Yeah. I get how this works. Yeah.
What you got?
So I would say, me personally, I'm not a very visual savvy person. I don't really care how it looks. That's why I'm an X-Plane user. Like if I wanted my sim to look perfect, I would go on Microsoft 100%. But for me, I have like OCD about literally every little thing working with the click of a button, and being able to import my flight plan from my Garmin GPS into the sim and use my FliGHT with the sim and have all of that just integrate, like stuff like that. I'm very like Austin Meyer in that sense, and
Well,
yeah,
you
he
can
does
use
pay me.
FliGHT with Microsoft.
Yeah, I know you can't. I was just the native implementation of it.
The average person just doesn't pay for FliGHT. Let's be honest.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah. But yeah, in my situation, I enjoy flying in real life, and I don't know, X-Plane gets me the closest to that, and that's what I take.
Yeah, I mean,
Microsoft's cool though.
again, that's what it's all about, right? So you're gonna have people that are like, "Hey, this is what I enjoy. I don't need to look out the window and look at how pretty thing is because my main concern is this plane feels better. This plane feels more like it should. This plane reacts the way I think it should, right? In some cases, for people like Redneck and people like Owls and people like MickityyyMike that has gone through some type of flying lessons that put their hands, and I mean myself included. I'm not a PPL holder, but I got stick time on numerous planes. Being fortunate enough in the military to I've had some good pilot friends of mine that are like, "Hey, man, let's go fly." But that's neither here or there. So I know what a plane feels like. I know what the difference is, right? And neither X-Plane or Microsoft give me that sensation. Um, but again, it's that illusion of realism, right? Hey, this feels more like it should. This does better than the Microsoft plane does when it comes to this type of a lot of stuff that is unable to happen on Microsoft is not the developer's fault. It's not PMDG's fault. It's not Phoenix's fault, right? Let's be fair about this.
It's a limitation of the
It's
sim.
just a limitation of the sim, right? The way the sim handles crosswind is absolutely horrendous, right? We all know this. You have a 3 knots crosswind, and next thing you know, you end up in the
You're
terminals.
hurricane.
You're like, what the hell? This is 3 knots.
Yeah,
What the hell's
yeah.
going on, right? So yeah, and they have claimed, right, for 2024, all of this has been a draft, updraft,
Wake
weights,
turbulence,
wake
yeah, all that.
turbulence, all that stuff is being addressed. Flight model, all that stuff is being addressed. They're gone from a talking to a pilot and getting his inputs to now what they call a scientific approach, meaning they have spent money renting planes out. They spent money on buying equipment to hook up to planes and get that information, which is stuff that, to be fair, Laminar and X-Plane has been doing for a long time, right? That Microsoft is just now starting to do that for 2024. They have not done that in the past, but that's always been the thing with Laminar. They're always getting all that information off the real plane, right? So it is to be expected that in in a certain way, I think the planes in X-Plane are gonna give you that feeling, right? To be more of what the real thing might have been, right? So, yeah. You got anything else, Redneck, for us?
I think adding on to what you were saying there, in terms of the way X-Plane simulates the way that an aircraft flies in the sim, they've had Austin Meyer created X-Plane 1 in, I think the first copy they created of that was in the late 90s, 97, 98, somewhere around there. They've been building on the exact same airfoils model since then. That airfoils model that they have developed, which is the X-Plane airfoils model, is the X-Plane flight dynamics, flight physics, whatever you want to call the words. That is how they simulate how the aircraft performs in their sim. They have developed that model over 25 years. That is going to be extremely difficult to beat from both a commercial or just like a desktop simulator aspect, because that's been their focus. That's been what they've wanted to perfect, but they've left the visuals out of it. Like if you look at X-Plane 11 or X-Plane 11 or 12 stock compared to 2020, it's night and day. Like there's obviously a difference. You look at the clouds, you look at the way that the world is rendered around you. You don't have satellite scenery in X-Plane. Hopefully that gets added. But in terms of what their focus has been completely on the other side of what Microsoft has been doing. And so I think what they're doing now is kind of scrambling to catch up with Microsoft, which they've invested billions of dollars. They have their own satellites, their scenery, the way that their engine works, the way that they visually render things such as clouds and weather systems and sky colors is perfect. Like it looks beautiful, and it looks like as it should. X-Plane's trying to catch up to that,
Right.
but now they're in the boat as they don't have the billions of dollars, the satellites, they don't have the stuff to do that. So they're trying to get to that point, and then on the other hand, Microsoft is trying to catch up, and the flight dynamics part of it, which I think eventually they will. I don't think 2024 will be a full fix for it, because I think obviously this is their first time using technology.
Yeah, we don't know. We just speculate about that.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
they want whatever. We can't really speak to that until November 20th. So
So
let's wait on that.
exactly.
But we do have Captain Shaquille O'Neal here in chat, another fellow content creator that says it best. So
He loves his X-Plane.
his number one question is, how do you know what a 737, 320, etc. feels like when you only experience it from a seat, 12 feet, but you're not a type-rated pilot? So that's his first question, which I totally agree. How the hell do you know? Even though you have a PPL, that's great, but how do you know what a 737 feels like? I've only, as far as commercial aircraft, I've only put my hands on yoke and pedals of a 707. I've never flown a 737. I got 707 time. That's about all I got. But the number two question is, how can you compare a 60 million plus 3D feeling on a 2D screen with a few $100 yoke size? Exactly. Like, so how those people that are like, oh, this flight model is perfect, this feels so realistic, and they're sitting in front of a screen with a yoke and pedals. Yeah, I just can't. I
It doesn't work that way.
again,
No.
I've
Yeah.
flown planes. I've done these things. I might not be a typewriter pilot, but I've flown the planes, and I got thousands and thousands of dollars of equipment in front of me, and it does not feel like a damn plane. Okay.
Yeah, I'll
So-
tell you, I'll touch on this. Even for the X-Plane users that are in the chat, and I said this in a response to Captain Shack in your chat just now, is like, I think this whole argument about which flight dynamic is better, more quote unquote realistic, this, that, the third, is more geared towards what sim feels better for a user to fly, not versus how realistic it compares to the real world airplane. Now, for me, when I was on X-Plane, I have time in a Cessna 172. I know how it flies, right? Not even X-Plane has gotten that flight dynamic right. It's entirely too sensitive, right? In the Cessna
yeah, but
172,
what, I think, Mikey, the argument is not that, hey, this is more realistic than reality. I think the argument that I like to pose, because I don't want to say that, hey, this feels more realistic. I'm not trying to compare it to the real plane, right? I'm
Right.
trying to say that comparing it to the real plane, right? I think that X-Plane does it better than Microsoft when it comes to giving you the illusion that you are getting that crosswind.
Right,
The
true, yeah,
landing,
yeah.
the landing
Yeah.
characteristics, the taking off characteristics, the taxi feels like, this feels like a big plane, right? Okay,
sim
this
feels
feels
better
like
to
a little
fly,
plane,
yeah.
right? Even when you compare the GA aircraft, I think X-Plane does it better than Microsoft. The Cessna in Microsoft feels like a kite, bro. It just goes everywhere. You're like, what the hell's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah.
Right? The real thing that I have flown, even though I'm not a PPL holder, I get it. You don't have a PPL. I've flown a Cessna, right? It does not feel nothing like Microsoft Flight Simulator or X-Plane. That's all I'm trying
Yeah.
to say. However, if I was to tell you, hey, if I want to pretend I'm a pilot of a Cessna, which X-Plane do you think would get me closer to what the real thing might possibly be?
Yeah, it's
I
X-Plane,
would
for sure.
say go with X-Plane, right?
Yeah, it's X-Plane,
But
100%.
if you tell me, hey, if I want to fly around and I want to have a great experience, and I want to go and I want to see cool cool, cool sceneries and shit like that, then probably
I want to.
X-Plane is not for you, right?
I want to fly into a bush strip and see a deer shit
Bush
in my
strips, right?
backyard.
Bush strips on X-Plane, we all know they're freaking horrible, dude. There's no bush, right? So obviously bush 2020 ain't even better. 2024 is going to be freaking amazing when it comes to bush strips,
Yeah.
right? With the
2024
wildlife
with-
and everything else, right? 2024, yeah.
With the rock systems and stuff, they've
Yeah, I mean,
upgraded.
it's what they have done with that sim is simply unbelievable. But again, I don't want to speak too much about it because it's not even out yet, right?
Yeah,
So
they don't have
going
any.
back to the content creators that are pointing out flaws of Flight Simulator 2024 without even having flown it, right? They're just like, oh, I was watching this video and look, this is horrendous. Well, first of all, my guy, there was 2 months in the development, there's 2 more months to go, right? They have stated that particular product that they were showing casing that particular day of their event was a very early access, very limited simulator. So the fact that you are whinging and crying about how it looks or how it might perform, there was like literally like 10 computers all connected in the same Wi-Fi network. The Wi-Fi was garbage. The computers, nobody knows what kind of computers they had. So you just sit there and you whinge about some shit without even knowing what the hell happened. That's what I'm saying, right? So you gotta think about stuff before you say it, right? So that's the thing. We don't know what Flight Simulator 24 is going to be like. It might be great. It might be the worst simulator ever. Let's just wait and see, right? I know that I'm hopeful, and I've already spent a couple $100 on that sim, and I have it pre-ordered. I got the plane that came with it, and I will never fly that plane again. I tried it out today. It's just not my thing, right? I don't go put out fires. And
Are you gonna get your little 2-inch Antonov toy as well?
no. I got the Aviator. I didn't get the collector edition. I got the Aviator package. So, which again, they give you the early access to that. What is it? CL45.
Yeah,
So I got that.
one for 2020, yeah.
But yeah, all right, man. Thanks again, Mr. Redneck. Unless you do you have something else to add?
I'll just touch on like a quick example of the flight model thing.
I'll let
just
you touch
for-
on that. I need to take a quick break.
Yep.
I'm drinking too much water. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So
Mickey
in
Mike,
terms
make sure you
of-
don't say nothing wrong. You drag his ass out if he acts up. Because we all know redneck.
in terms of like going from so I have a type rating from the FAA and a Kinger 200-300 series. So going from that experience in a level D simulator at flight safety using a ProSim full motion simulator to using like the X-Plane Airfoil Labs King Air and then also flying the real thing, you can get in that level D simulator. It feels like crap compared to the real plane. It doesn't even touch the surface. I mean, you're on a hydraulic platform. You can only do so much. It's not. It feels half of what the real thing is. And so trying to compare desktop simulator physics anywhere near real life is just
It's an unfair comparison.
Exactly.
It's an unfair comparison because, and I will stand on this hill and die on it. We're not arguing what feels the most realistic to what the real world thing feels. We're arguing the fact of which sim feels better for the user, right? And I think that's where the misconception leads. Is when I talk about flight dynamics for X-Plane versus Microsoft, I'm talking about just the sim itself. I nowhere near compare this to real life because I've flown in real life and it's night and day difference. So when it comes to the whole argument about which sim is better, to me, again, quite honestly, I don't care what you fly. I genuinely don't. Is X-Plane something that I want to dive into again, potentially down the road? As of right now, Microsoft is satisfying the aviation need that I have enough to where I don't need to install another sim on my computer.
One
So,
also, especially for content creation as well, just the platform that you get with Microsoft is going to be 15
It's massive,
billion.
yeah, compared to X-Plane.
It's so if you go to Twitch or you go to YouTube, you look up X-Plane 11, 12, you'll find maybe a stream or two. You look up Microsoft, you find plethora.
Thousands, yeah, it's plethora so worth, yeah. So I mean, Shaq says X-Plane flies better out of the two sims, but both are not real life. Yeah, exactly. And I will agree that X-Plane does feel personally better because I flew X-Plane for years prior to going on to Microsoft. I will say it does feel better, but Microsoft has gotten close. So I think 2024 around the corner. You know, I'm not going to form an opinion until I actually have time in the sim. And once we start flying in that sim, then, you know, give me about a week in the sim, and then I will give you guys an educated opinion on whether or not, you know, Microsoft is going to be the future, or if X-Plane and Laminar Research need to step up their games because I'm dissatisfied with the product, you know, type thing. So, you know, it's just a matter of, it's all a matter of personal preference. And I've said this since day one, it's all personal preference.
Yep. Yeah, the
So,
the whole debate between the two sims, it's honestly pointless. Like,
yeah.
I like mine, you like yours. We both fly.
I like mine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was cool too because I bought the upgrade to the 350 in Microsoft, and you know, you were seeing me fly it in the Discord chat, and you were teaching me things about the plane and all that kind of stuff. And it's like I was flying Microsoft, I wasn't flying X-Plane. You know, that's the beautiful thing about it. Is like one can be better than the other, but at the end of the day, I'm doing the same exact thing that the other sim will do, right? So this whole argument about X-Plane versus it's like the Ford versus Chevy guys, right? It's just like, who gives a damn? It's a truck. It goes vroom, takes you to where you need to go. Might not be the most reliable, right? But you know,
I mean, you didn't even mention the best in that equation, but you know.
Oh, Dodge? Nah.
Mopar.
Nah, you missed me with that, bro.
Cummins,
I work
baby.
for the company. I'm good.
Cummins, baby. Owls knows what's up. Cummins is from Indiana.
Diesels, 100%. 100%.
Cummins is Indiana. I got to represent, you know.
All right. Thanks, Redneck. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming by.
Yep.
Major Mark was down there before. I don't know if Major Mark, if you still want to talk, let us know.
Nolan was down there too.
Nolan was down there too. I think they got tired of waiting.
They're all up in the members only chat, yeah.
Yeah, if you guys want to stop by real quick, I know that how long we've been on already?
Man.
About 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, 2 hours and 40 minutes. So yeah, I think we touched on a lot of stuff tonight, and some stuff that I probably did not want to touch on, but I think it's all good conversation, right? As when it comes to community, when it comes with Microsoft and X-Plane, and you know, the community itself, the content creators. There's definitely out there, guys, and I'll say this again. While OWLZ is over there twitching.
Not bad.
There's content creators that you need to tread lightly. All right, I'm not gonna say don't watch them. If you want to watch them, it's up to you. But it's definitely not a good look. No, somebody was in the waiting room in the left. You want to come in or not? Somebody said drag Nolan.
Noli.
Just steal him down from members.
All right.
Hey.
Nolan, you on the air? What you got, brother?
I don't got nothing.
All right,
Nolan got nothing to say. Okay, cool. Was it Major Mark? All right, let's drag this guy down. Major Mark, I know you was waiting there for a little bit. You on the air? What you got?
Do what?
Oh my god!
Weren't you waiting down there? Didn't you want to come up?
Oh.
You said no. Anyway,
is everybody frozen on my screen?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, dude. If anybody doesn't know who Major Mark is, he's
Lotto's in there.
He's a fellow content creator. Well, we got Lotto, sponsored by. Hello, Mr. Lotto, sponsored by Corsair. What's going on? My guy is in the house.
You didn't use some of that Lotto.
Hold on, guys. I gotta. Jesus, I hear 14 of us because I have YouTube in the background and.
Yeah, let's not do YouTube thing in the background. That's not good.
No, I turn it off. I turn it off.
But if anybody knows, if anybody doesn't know, I'm pretty sure everybody knows who Lotto is. But Lotto does a lot of that Lotto shit on Instagram. And if you guys don't know who he is, you need to go check it out. He has hit his what is it, 500 million, 500,000? How many you got?
Half a million subscribers.
Half a million. Guys, I don't know if you realize this. Half a million subscribers. That's about how much Quick Lift donated to me tonight. Half a million. So yeah, Mr. Lotto, what do you got, man? What do you got for us, dude? Oh, the crazy eyes today. Crazy eyes are coming in. There he is.
Oh, look at the hair. Oh my god.
Crazy eyes as it was.
Wow.
I'm literally in San Francisco right now, about to do San Fran to Denver. I kind of fell in love with that 788. even though I
Bravo?
hated it in the beginning. The Bravo, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Owls, I had a bad
Tough.
experience. When Owls first got me into it, I had a bad experience with it. You know what I'm saying? It literally just crashed my sim. I couldn't record. I was so upset, but thank God, you know what I'm saying? It's actually, it's growing on me. And that's the thing. That's what I really wish we had in the sim is just like a good 788. I think it's been amazing what you guys are talking about. I'm glad to see everybody in here. I just wanted to come in and say what a wonderful job you've done. I think you guys are hitting on some great things. I think the haters and everybody that's trying to create any type of controversy, I've been there. You know, when I was struggling with stuff, you know, I would I've complained, and you know, it's about, you know, and I see it with you, CST, and this is why I think I respect you a lot. Is you know, a lot of times when you know you do something wrong, you don't go like this, right? You're not pointing at someone. You do this, and that's called thumb pointing, right? Hey, I made that mistake as well, and I've done that as well on my end to be able to like, oh, well, Indyville's, well, they didn't want to give me a plane, or they want, oh, wow, they copied a certain style that I just did. They got me at 1.4 million like, and now they're doing it, but they don't even come and like my stuff. And in the end, you can't worry about that, right? You got to just keep doing what you do and what you do best, and then try. And I even said it to Zem like earlier, like, don't worry about it, because imagine a millionaire. My apologies, because I am high with Lotto as of today, right? So, but so I'm gonna be all over the place, and that's how I am. You know, I'm just you know, my mind just races a lot, and but no, like with Zemp, like it's about 1% better, right? You get 1% better. Guess what you're doing? You're learning every time. If he's 13, 14 years old, guess where that kid's gonna be at 16, right? And look at what Owls has done. I told Owls this. I told his dad. Me and his dad had a great breakfast all together. You know what I'm saying, when we were at the expo. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Owl's dad. Owl's dad is awesome, man.
That dude's a G.
Amazing.
For real. I really do like him. You know, respect, and that's where you see where Owls comes from, the great character, right? Because he's being taught the right way, and he's got something he loves. But with Zemp, like 1% better, you'll get there. Don't worry about it. People are going to talk. You know what? You have a niche where people are making fun of you because of your, oh my God, I almost landed on a building. We keep growing on that. You know why? Because in the end, you'll get it, right? And that's the thing. And I try to do multiple different things when I first started. Like, I try to do a live stream, and I went in there. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm gonna have people coming and watching me. And my first live stream, I had like 2 people, and everybody was spamming the, you know, oh shit, you're, you know, I can't. You're basically, it's a loading screen because my internet wasn't good enough, right? I don't even know how my sim's still running in the background, me running this and everything else, you know. But you know, thank God with the community. I think that's like the biggest thing. Like, if anybody watches this and you're struggling, these types of platforms right here, what you see on CST, like CST, I took him for granted because I didn't know he had so much stuff on the sim that I'm like, dude, I'm implementing in my own stuff, right? MickityyyMike, very professional, right? Demeanor when he's talking on ATC, I'm like, this motherfucker's a real pilot. Like, he's a real pilot out there.
Delta 1642.
Yeah, Delta 1642.
Hey guys, hold on, guys. We talked to ATC.
You know what's crazy about that?
1642.
What's crazy about that too is I don't just get that on the Flight Simulation Network. I get that at work all the time, man. When I key up on the radio, when I'm on a call or something like that.
I could imagine, Mike, bro.
You know, guys, I don't mean. Look, I don't mean no harm when I say
I
this.
got you.
Okay?
No, you're good. You're good.
I don't want to upset
Mike
anybody.
knows I love him.
But Mike knows I love. We talked about this. The vibe I get when Mikey goes, when I was in flight school, you know, have you ever watched American Pie? The back and back.
Yeah.
Back when I was in back. That's the vibe I get, right? Whenever he says,
but I went through band camp. That's the thing, right? You know.
So hey, you could do both, dude. Back in band camp and back when I was doing my PPL
this one time in band camp.
This one time in my PPL course, right? That's
hilarious. Yeah, but that's the thing. So I'm like, I feel like I'm lost on where I was going with it, but I can't do anything but have the gratitude for you guys. You know, Isaac knows how much I appreciate him. Hopefully, I know he hasn't been around in a while. You know, I know you were just going through it too. Like, if I love flying with one person, that's Isaac, bro. Like, I don't know what it was about that kid, but every time I was in a crunch, boom, he's jumping on it. But then, you know, now I'm in a crunch. I got Mark, I got you, I got Mamba right in the background. Yo, bro, do this. And Mamba's like, yeah, man, I've been doing this for a year. And I taught people because, you know, he's thinking of me. I taught Lotto last night. He didn't know what he was doing, and I taught him. So it's like such a cool thing to have that, because that's what I was missing on my own stuff. I was doing everything on my own and watching. I've been I've been playing some FS98 days. But all I did was I jump on the 734. I knew how to hit heading mode and I knew how to hit autopilot. And the ATC communications you guys talk about even earlier, like people on VATSIM and all this stuff. Not gonna lie to you guys, the number one thing I would do, listen
Tyler
to live
rocks
ATC. I said it on the other
$1.99.
podcast. Listen
Yo,
to
it's
it.
high with
Just
Lotto.
listen to it, bro. It's actually very peaceful. I go to sleep with it sometimes. Believe it or not, that's what I sleep with. Is live ATC, like LAX Tower or LAX Ground, and it's like so calming to me. But I'm a nerd, right? I don't make flight sim content because I knew I can get to this. It's because I love actually not only flight sim, but I love airplanes. Like that's the biggest thing. But
And
yeah,
that's
I
why
appreciate
we're
you
all
guys.
there. That's why we're all there, because we love
Right,
aviation. We love planes,
because
right?
we are exactly what Mike
Right.
said earlier. Like when I fly United, I'm on channel 9. I'm listening to the pilot. I'm like, yeah, my dog right here.
Yeah.
And then
again,
I'm secretly, everybody's turning and saying, huh.
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
say this again. I was that guy, right? I was that guy. I used to look at people like, oh, this dude is on Xbox. This dude is flying with a controller. But at the end of the day, you got to come to the realization, right? You got to be a grown up about the shit, right? That's what I'm trying to say. It's like it doesn't matter, right? Everybody, people do this because they love aviation, because they like planes. You shouldn't put them down for the way they're doing it, right? And again, like you said before, I put the finger on myself. I used to be that guy. That was me. And to this day, I will still do that, but it's not because I don't want you to do flight sim in a certain way. It's just picking on each other, right? We have Dom in the chat that is an Xbox player, and we give him shit all the time, right? We have Lotto with the crazy eyes. He Instagram, and he'll take off and he'll drop his gears, 15 feet from the Caliph in Dubai, and it's like, bro, real planes don't do that. However, that shit looks good as shit, right? It's great. It's fantastic. The videos that he does,
but
the stuff that he
that's
does might not be totally realistic, but at the same time, it's like, oh my god, that looks freaking awesome, right?
But it's finding your niche, though, right? It's finding
that
what
niche, right?
And
You
that's
don't
the
have
thing.
to
I
be.
started doing a lot of things where you said it earlier, where you got kind of really, oh my god, I'm really like, I don't want to keep doing this, right? I got a lot of popularity. I see it on TikTok where I can't go because I made a Bangladeshi airline and people loved it, and now that's all my following is.
That's it.
And what
yeah.
happens is, it's as soon as my videos go out to my audience, it literally just gets stuck because everybody said, "Oh, it's not Bangladeshi." I'm done. You know what I'm saying? I want Bangladesh Airlines. It's like I can't constantly do that. So you know what? I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna
Mhm.
create what I'm feeling at the moment. So if I'm feeling happy, you're gonna see a happy song and a nice airplane. If I'm feeling angry, you're gonna see more headshots to the plane, but no wheels whatsoever, just up close to be, and then like some raunchy music, right? To get it hardcore. I don't know, man. That's how I am. But I 100%
Absolutely.
agree, and I'm loving these podcasts more and more. I didn't really want to get involved tonight because I wanted to just fly and enjoy myself. But I've been in the background just watching, listening, reading the chat, and appreciate everybody for saying hello as well earlier. I
I
just see that.
appreciate that. By the way, Tyler Rocks came in with a $2 donor there saying, "Yo, it's Aguilado."
Oh,
Appreciate
hey,
you,
you guys, you gotta
Tyler
be
Rocks. Thank
careful
you
with
so
that
much.
type of stuff, man. Hold on,
Yeah.
because I was gonna do something too.
Alrighty, we got somebody else waiting here. Who is
That is Mr. Information Alpha.
Information Alpha.
The most
What-
importable YouTuber. in
Mr.
the
Lotto,
chat.
thank you so much for stopping by, man. Really do appreciate you, man. It's always a pleasure, and I mean,
Have fun on that flight.
we all know that I am glad that you are part of the community, and going back to you saying, "Hey, Mamba helps with this," and Mikey,
Jeez.
that's why we do this, right? That's why.
Hell yes, my
That's
guy.
not that's not only for you. That's just for the the whole community. and everything,
community,
bro. That's
exactly.
for everybody in here.
I
Like in
appreciate
the
that,
end, I know
too.
what you've done. You put these. I can't get it out because I'm flying with the tiller on. Actually, I could hold on. But like I tell you, hey, can you hook me up? And you hooked me up. You know what I'm saying? And you made it with
Appreciate
the
that, brother.
logo of mine. Like that's huge. So like I'll never go back on anything. And then I've asked you, hey, can you do a flight Albania? And you did it right away. So I appreciate you. I appreciate it all. I appreciate
so
Mike,
much,
and thank you guys. I'm leaving.
Thank
See
you
ya.
so much, brother. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, man.
As he sneaks in 10 gifted memberships.
I know,
bro.
huh? That's yeah. I'm gonna shut this guy up and I'm gonna leave. Thanks again, Lotto. Appreciate you. Much love, brother. We got it's gonna keep going off here for. Let me see. Can I? No, I'm not gonna mute it, guys. We're just gonna let it do its thing. But let's bring up information off. Let's see what it's got, man. I don't even remember ever talking to information off. I know he's been in my chat for a few times, but I never heard his voice. So let's see. This might be one of
He's
those.
a fantastic YouTube channel.
Mr. Information Alpha, you are on the air, my friend.
Good evening, gents. How are you?
Good evening. We're doing
Turn the
fantastic.
camera on.
There he is. Oh, we got the camera
There's
too,
the
bro.
man himself.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. He's got the
Everyone
two
doing all
things on the headphone on the headphones. He's kind of looking like the Wolverine, dude. Look at
Just the Astros. Yeah, obviously, I've spoken to a few in the past. Well, in my experience from the UK, went to the US to train as a pilot as well. So I've experienced some things, both UK and US sides. I think earlier we was talking about with the whole VATSIM thing, yes, you're kind of on the right direction, but you also forget about the fact about the airspace in UK, Europe, everywhere. It's completely different. It's so much more condensed in the UK and the whole of Europe. It's very, very difficult to maintain it compared to the US. The reason why I love flying in the US full stop is because of how much space there is, and because of that, the US can be a lot more. It's not that they could be more lazy. It's just easier to do. I know loads of controllers who much prefer controlling the States because it's less stressful, and because of that, it does tend to excel a lot better. But when you look at quality places like the UK, look at London Heathrow, as I'm sure you've all tried multiple times, the quality of service there is very, very excellent. And they only hand select, I think it's like 3 people a year to actually go into those controller positions because of how intense it is. So take what you want from that. But yeah, I thought I'd just quickly bring that up.
Yeah, Heathrow is a beast. Heathrow is. I shout out the controllers every time I fly into Heathrow. They are phenomenal. They are just so to the point and detailed in their. I wouldn't say detailed to the point of confusing, but their transmissions to the pilots on VATSIM and that stuff. They are just so clear, concise, and to the point. And their expectations for everyone that flies into their airspace are set to a bar that needs to maintain that standard, right? And I think with that, I think that's a positive thing, because if the controller is setting the standard, then the pilot is flying. Because when I flew into Heathrow, I was like, okay, this guy's not messing around. Let me put my headband on real quick and get my pilot sweat going, right?
And
So
you always think it's
awesome.
like a one-off, but it's not. It's every single time.
Every time. Every time.
And they have to be like that. That's the thing, and that's the reason why it's so difficult getting into those positions.
Right.
I mean, for phonetic alphabet or anything like that in Europe, it's like speaking to a robot, because they have to in order to maintain the fast pace. Whereas in the States, I wouldn't say they're lazy. I definitely would say that people talk more, and because of that, it's not as routine. Not saying it's a bad thing. Sometimes it's good. You can understand the emotions, but from a pilot's perspective, especially in the real life, you don't really need that as much. That's sort of what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah. The US is definitely a lot more laid back when it comes to controlling aspects. A lot more laid back.
That's
and
what
I think that, again, and you touched on it. It's the space of the airspace and just how much airspace one controller can handle, right? You look at Salt Lake City Center, LA Center, or Washington Center, any of those big RTCs or centers up in the East or West Coast. They're massive sizes of airspace. But then you go out to the UK or into Europe and stuff like that, and you have 5 different centers within an hour and a half, 2-hour flight.
Even then, looking at a general chart, you have a Class B airspace in the US, which would be your major airports. Look at London, doesn't exist.
Right.
It's just impossible. You have small little corridors, but yeah, it's just
Yeah, I mean, you look at when it comes to Europe as well. You look at we've all seen them, right? The dreaded arrival charts, right? That are longer than flight, right? You're doing this number, it's zigzagging all over the place before you get to land, right? And you're like, okay, yes, I'm on this arrival, and it takes you like just 30 minutes to go through the arrival and descend and land, right? So
even then, like coming into places like London, it's not you're following it. You're not following an arrival procedure. You are following the controllers. You're trying to maintain that constant descent down. You're not going descending flight level at a time. So it is a lot more intense. The other thing which I think, coming back to also the whole decision of what flight sim you should go for, a lot of people nowadays have a lot of tunnel vision, which is the issue. And I will admit, a lot of it is to do with the content creators. myself as well, I know I focus primarily, 100% of my stuff on Flight Simulator, and with MSFS being so focused towards the younger audience to engage in the whole the aviation sector, which is the point of it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing or a good thing. People treat simulators too seriously.
100%.
They expect it to be a lot better than what it actually is. It's impossible to replicate, as who was
Redneck.
the guy who was on Redneck was saying. I've flown FAA certified simulators. It doesn't feel like real life compared to the actual aircraft. It's impossible, especially with the force feedback side. I don't know if you saw what I was trying to say, but you can't replicate the same feeling. Even with like X-Plane being a lot more realistic, it still isn't, because you don't feel how the actual aircraft is responding. And that's what it comes down to. They may try to simulate it, but the actual simulation of the physics and stuff may be completely incorrect. But in terms of, for someone using a thrustmaster or something like that, which has no input, it may appear correctly. It's just what they're trying to cater to an audience who think it's correct when it may not be correct, is what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, of course, 100%.
It's all imagination.
It's an illusion, right? They're creating the illusion that you're flying, and that's exactly what it is. Now, some developers do that better than others. They're able to grant their illusion a little bit better than the next person. But when it all comes down to it, that's all it is. It's an illusion. You're still sitting on a computer on your desk, on a monitor, in front of a 2D monitor. I would venture to say that the VR aspect of it may render that experience a little better, right? A little more realistic, if that's what word you want to use. But still, it's still not there, right? It's still not the thing.
It will never be there. It's impossible to replicate it.
And the fact that and the fact VR might be great, but the fact that you got to wear a brick on your face for 2-3 hours, I'm sorry, I'm not down with that. I'm not down with that. As good as it looks and all that good stuff, I'm not wearing a brick on my face for 2 hours. But
absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Owls, what you got, man? You've been quiet for a little bit. What you got, man?
I'm just relaxing. I'll be honest, it's later for me because I'm on the east, so
it's late, man. It's 3 o'clock in the morning for me.
I was about to say it's super late for you.
I was about to say Information Alpha got out of bed to come be on this.
Yeah. He's probably when you have those the work meetings on face cams and then you got like your underwear on underneath.
Oh my god!
Let me just put a sweater on.
Professional up top, but
let me just put a sweater on the way it looks like I didn't just get off the bed.
Not confirming. Not confirming.
Nor confirming nor denying, right?
It's a difficult one nowadays, especially when Microsoft Flight Simulators are crazy. Everyone wants to know about it. X-Plane has been sort of, it's not as part. It's desolate really, because that's where the money's at, and I think, as I said before, everyone takes it too seriously, but it is directed towards younger people to aspire them to become pilots or aviators. Any part of it, maintenance side of them, understand. But coming down to the whole reality of it, especially might be an unpopular opinion, but I would probably say my favorite aircraft and the most realistic is the DA-42 by CAL's simulation. I've been in larger aircraft up front. Nothing compares. I think larger aircraft do not replicate well in terms of how the contact from the aircraft to the ground actually works. In terms of turning corners, it feels like you're on an ice rink. Everyone knows that. But in smaller aircraft like GA, which is where I would say MSFS is more catered towards, anyways, you can allow it. It is really good. The CAL's DA-42 friction model is excellent. So if you haven't tried it, definitely try it out. But from flying, throughout the whole of my flight training, I was using both DA-40 NG with the FlightSim.to mod and also the CAL's 42 throughout the whole process of my flight training. And I have to say, it benefited me. It really did. So you can't just say, oh, it's the physics engine's crap. You can't really say that. It's good enough for you to utilize it. It's not good for real life flight training, but it helps you.
Right. Of course. Of course. I mean, and we've heard that for numerous even pilots. I mean, I have a buddy of mine in the chat in Discord. Everybody knows Captain Biles, right? He's a real world pilot, and yeah, he tells me that the one thing that benefited him in becoming a real pilot was is years of flying on flight sim, right? Whether that was FS98, because I think we started flying together like FS98 when I met him. We were doing FS98, I forget. But we were doing the the VATSIM thing and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's definitely a benefit when you have the switchology in the aircraft and the lingo, right? The VATSIM lingo that you can say this stuff, and you don't go into flight school and they're like, okay, we're gonna talk about VORs, and you have no clue what a VOR is. You have no clue what an NDB is.
Do you know what it
The
stands for?
flight simmer is gonna know that stuff, right? So
Yeah.
it helped him out immensely. That he tells me that all the time. It helps out a lot. Obviously, it's not going to give you the feeling of a real aircraft, but all the other stuff, the other 80%, right? Because the feeling of the aircraft, sure, that's a percentage, but everything else you're learning, right? You're learning how to read charts. You're learning how to talk to ATC. You're learning how to get clearance and all that good stuff, right? So it's definitely beneficial. Whether it's X-Plane, Microsoft, you name it, right? It doesn't matter which sim. It's definitely beneficial,
man.
especially if you're looking to get into that career.
I say this all the time, man. And when I began my flight training back when I was 18, flying the 172 at this non-towered airport, just in a small little, regional airport within Chester County, Pennsylvania, man. The first question my lead flight instructor asked me was, how much knowledge do you have within aviation? What experience do you have? And I said, well, I don't really have anything real world, but I fly on flight sims and VATSIM all the time. And he looked at me. He's like, I want you to throw all of that out the window because this is the real world now. And I was like, no worries, And we walked out to the airplane. We did our walk around, we checked the ailerons, elevators, so on and so forth. And we got on the airplane, powered it up, and we were getting ready to taxi out. And I asked him, I was like, do you mind if I handle radios? And he's like, if you want to, you know the phonetic alphabet. I was like, yeah, I know the phonetic alphabet. So all the calls that I made, Chester County traffic, Skyhawk 1 November 21056, we're going to be taxiing runway 29 run up area for via Alpha for run up, and this that the third Chester County traffic, whatever the transmission may have been. He looked at me and he's like, how'd you know all this? I was like, well, I told you, I fly on VATSIM. VATSIM is a virtual air traffic simulation tool that I use within the flight sim, and this is where I learned all these calls. And he's like, all right, dude, let me retract my last statement. Let's go flying. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So there is a level of knowledge that the flight simulator can give you.
Absolutely.
It's like the same thing with mine, because I don't know I think I've told most people, but I recently got a new instructor, and I went flying with him this weekend. And my old instructor, I would say he was a little bit more slower paced. I never turned the plane on. I never did the walk around by myself. I've never taxied by myself. I've never done anything by myself. With this guy, he just straight up let me do it. And using the sim, I was able to, go through the walk around, practice what I've been doing in the sim, like just, looking at what I should have been looking at. I started up the plane correctly. I did the calls correctly, which I've never done. I nailed the calls. I did the run up. And then, of course, not the flying part was the same. At least I was familiar with what to do. And, with the help of him just being like, yeah, you're doing this right. Just, asking him every now and then. He's like, yeah, you're doing great. I've never done it before. And somehow I knew how to do it. So I think it is a good tool to use.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely aspects where a simulator will benefit you in real. I mean, even then, I've not flown in a while, but I am still utilizing networks like VATSIM to maintain my instrument proficiency, my radio proficiency. Even then, I think the two main things which flight simulators are excellent for is systems and procedures. Going through flows, it is astonishing how well you can maintain proficiency through that. You're not flying a real plane, but it's like you are. There is one thing I will say about Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and hopefully, should be better in 2024, which is excellent, and that's flying by dead reckoning. Try doing an X-plane, you're not going to work. But creating a VFR flight plan and following it, you should be able to nail every single point, recognize every single location, and hit it within 30 seconds. And I can guarantee that. I mean, I've done it. It's excellent. There's not been a simulator where I've been able to replicate that before.
Right. Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, there's definitely a level of knowledge that you can receive from the flight simulators that's very beneficial. Especially, I couldn't agree more with the proficiency when it comes to flows and checklists and all that kind of stuff. I mean, for when I was doing my 172 training as a student pilot, man, when I was going to get my PPL, man, when I hop back into the sim, going from night and day from the real world aircraft to the simulator, just getting in the airplane, starting it up, doing my flow checklist, taxiing to the run up area, doing my run up checks, all that stuff like that. I didn't even get into the air. I was just doing ground referencing stuff, or ground school stuff, just getting the airplane ready for departure and all that kind of stuff. The flying part, I mean, to be honest, in my personal opinion, the flying part is the easiest part of flight.
That's the easy part.
Yeah. Are you just PPL?
I actually don't hold a PPL. I had to disenroll from flight school about halfway through. I was getting ready to solo before I had to disenroll.
Well, how many hours do you get to?
I was just shy of 15 hours to include ground school.
Oh, very nice.
To include ground school, I flew two different types of 172s. I flew a G1000 and a six pack.
I'd always recommend learning six pack first.
Oh yeah,
personally.
That's all my school.
Oh yeah.
I learned G1000 at my flight school, and transitioning to six pack is probably one of the most difficult things. That's why I like flight sim as well. I'm able to go through the flows procedures. It does help you out. It's difficult.
Yeah. My father was kind of the one who kind of inspired the G1000 training as well. He's like, I want you to kind of get some training in this because the glass cockpit, he's like, the ultimate goal is commercial, right? You're going to be in a glass cockpit. So
flight schools go to it.
Yeah.
Why would you want to learn on some janky old things if the next aircraft you're going to be learning is 320?
Yeah. But I'll tell you, man, you put both of those tail numbers in front of me. If I've got November 9 or 1 Quebec Sierra and November 21056 in front of me, I'm taking 1 Quebec Sierra into the air because it's a six pack. It was an old like 60s, 70s 172 that was what's the word I'm looking for? Was refitted basically to be from carbureted to fuel injected. So it was an older airplane with the power of a newer Cessna. It was an awesome airplane to fly.
Sorry, guys, I had a phone call.
You're good.
Don't worry.
Awesome.
But yeah, nowadays it's just people go too far ahead. People jumping too far ahead in the future. Everyone thinks that they have to shoot for the stars, but take things one step at a time.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone learns differently as well.
You have to start somewhere, right? Whenever you're dealing with flight simulation, and like you said before, it's great. I think again, I'm gonna point the finger back to me. I used to be that guy, like, oh, Xbox, oh Jesus, all these kids and all this stuff, But at the same time, it's opening up the door to so much more than just the core flight simmer, right? And at the same time, I think it's a good thing for the development of the flight sim because it's bringing in that much more money. Let's be fair, right? It's a business. When you compare the two sims, X-Plane and Microsoft, the difference in the income intake of new simmers is just phenomenal. It's huge, right? It's huge.
I love it. Honestly, I absolutely love that more people are getting into it. And I mean, through COVID, it was an amazing tool because not only was it good therapy, but it inspired so many people to actually understand that we have this whole world out there and life doesn't revolve around being on your phone 24/7. Get out there, do something, achieve something new in your life. It's utilize the tools which you have so you can achieve something greater further ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Agree 100%.
Well, thank you. Information. What's your name again?
Rowan.
Rowan, thank you so much, man, for stopping by. I appreciate you. Thank you for the support. Myself, OWLZ, and Mikey. I know I've seen you in chat a few times. So I kind of knew who you were, but I really never talked to you personally. So
it's all good.
Appreciate you coming in, man.
Of course, I'm gonna go to bed.
All right, thanks, buddy. Have a good night, man.
Ciao.
All right, guys. What do you say we wrap it up? And we've been at it for quite a. This is a lot longer than what I intended, But
Yeah.
it's been great, man. It's been fun. I love it. I loved every minute of it. Um, do you want to you want to close with anything, Mikey? Let's go to you first.
Yeah, sure. I mean, appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight and sat down and had these awesome conversations with us. It's the beauty of the flight sim community. We can sit down, debate. We might not agree on things, but at the end of the day, we all love aviation. So, do appreciate you guys being here and smashing down the thumbs up button. Everybody that donated to CST. I mean, yeah, it's been an awesome stream from what I've been paying attention to. So, on top of sitting down, having conversations with two very good friends of mine, it's been a pretty successful night, I would say. Definitely look forward to doing this again for sure. Speaking on my side, guys, I'm going to be live tomorrow at about 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm like 99% sure that I'm going to be streaming American Truck Sim tomorrow because I want to do some trucking. If not, yeah, exactly. Yeah, want to get some more time on my new wheel that I purchased for Assetto Corsa. Yeah, we'll probably do American Truck Sim tonight. If I change my mind, then we'll most likely be flying in the sim tomorrow. Probably be back in the Airbus. We'll see. We'll figure it out, and we'll go from there. But just pay attention to the Discord. If you're a CST subscriber and you're new to, you don't know who I am or anything like that, my name is MickityyyMike. I do stream on YouTube. You can MICKITYYMIKE and drop a subscription and come and enjoy the content over there as well. But that's going to be it for me, man. I do appreciate CST for allowing me to come onto his platform and talk with him and all that kind of stuff. And
appreciate you guys coming on, man. I absolutely would definitely do this more. But King's Bug just dropped a $21 bomb. There's no Bush. Best comment of the night. Alice, what you got, my blue? What you got, my guy?
Well, it was fun. I enjoyed answering the questions, seeing all the people come in, all the debate kind of things that going on. I enjoyed it. I didn't expect to stay here this long either, but I'm happy I did because I did kind of enjoy it. As all you guys know, Microsoft Flight Simulator is the game. OWLZzFS is the name. If you didn't know, now you know.
Now you know. That's it. That's how we do that.
If you don't know,
when are you streaming, Owls? When are you streaming?
We're live tomorrow. PMDG 777 out of Doha over to Cairo. Checking out the time models Cairo. They sent it over to us to review, so that's what we're doing. Getting that big boy again. I've been looking at a little bit too much just planes and seeing the 777 on there, so I'm getting a little inspired to fly it. So yeah.
There you go. So tomorrow, tune in. We got MickityyyMike doing some ATS. We got OWLZzFS flying the 777. What time are you streaming, Owls? Your usual?
Good old 6 p.m. Yep.
Good old 6 p.m. East EST, and it's obviously, you said Pacific, right, for you, Mickity?
Yeah, it'll be 5 o'clock Pacific.
Big 5 o'clock Pacific for MickityyyMike. Myself, I am not streaming tomorrow. It's not my scheduled stream day for tomorrow. So I will see you guys on Wednesday if you care to come check us out. We stream obviously three times a week at 1500. That's 3 p.m. Central Standard. And on Saturday we do the 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So my next stream will be on Wednesday. This was supposed to be a flight sim stream today, but I wanted to kind of get together with Owls and Mike due to some other things, and I wanted to get this out right now that the topics were fresh and everything was ongoing. So I felt it was a good time to do it, and I really do appreciate Mike and Owls agreeing to not only come on, but I don't think Mike did, but I don't know, Owls literally postponed this stream. So I really do appreciate that, Owls. That's what I'm saying when I say, hey, this is we have community members, and then we have friends. We have real close. We create a real close bond. So I do appreciate you, Owls, for doing that for me, and Mikey as well, man. I appreciate you coming on. I know you got work here in a little bit, and you gotta get your shit together.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm about to be like Ruby here in a couple of minutes. Get a couple more Z's in before work tonight.
There you go. I really do appreciate you waking up outside your sleep time and all that good stuff.
On time.
On your work day. On time, right? On time. Surprise. He was on time. Let's not talk about this.
Hey.
But anyway, guys, thank you. Guys, I want to start by thanking, obviously, my mods, which have put in some work in the chat today. I've seen some deleted comments and some stuff that shouldn't be in there. Appreciate my mods. Appreciate my members and sponsors, obviously, and the donuts. The donuts were freaking insane tonight, man. I don't know what the hell went on tonight.
Crazy, man.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't for me, it was for you guys. But thank you guys so much. It's totally unnecessary, but it's very highly appreciated. And if you guys are willing to do that, and all I can say is thank you so much. Appreciate the support. Thank you for the new members as well, man, and even just the subscribers. If you can contribute with donations or memberships or anything like that, you still come in there, you participate, you smash that like button, you comment, and you are a part of the community just as anybody else is. Guys, until next time, as I always say, I salute you all. Please continue to stay safe, have fun, and as always, peace out, guys. We are out of here. We'll see you on Wednesday, and come check out OWLZ and MickityyyMike tomorrow for the streams. We are. Where are we?
Out of here.
From the what? What is it? What is it, Mikey? From the flight deck?
From the virtual flight deck, y'all. We will see ya.
See ya.